Hey, Tyson.
How are you?
Good, buddy.
That's good.
Movieland will definitely entertain you.
Yes, it will. Oh, sorry. What happened then?
Oh, sorry about that.
No, I think we're good.
We're good?
Yeah, we just had a little bit of a sing-along of the Movieland theme. We might have to post that again so everyone can enjoy its awesomeness.
Yeah. How are you, Tyson?
I'm
are
good,
you
man.
good? Yeah.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Nick Tys and Videotape.
Number
56.
56.
I'm keeping count.
I wrote it down
some
this
way.
time. Yeah, I love that. Season 1, Nick Tyson, I keep count.
You were keeping real count.
Season 2, it's you. It's all you, baby.
Yeah, but I will fuck it up. It's 100% that at one point I will get the number wrong.
No, that's wrong.
But today,
56. What are we doing today?
Well, today we're looking at a film. We had a request from myself. I wanted to look at a particular kind of film that doesn't get made anymore. That's the trashy 90s thriller.
Yes.
And so
they've
today,
tried to bring it back with that. What was that Halle Berry one that they did where
she's done like 4.
Oh, really?
She did something called with Bruce Willis. She did one with Bruce Willis. And It was garbage. And then she did this thing called The Call or The Caller.
Yeah. And then it was the neighborhood kid that she sexed, or she was the teacher or something. Yeah. There was
so
that
she's done
one.
like 3.
She's done tons.
She's the queen of the attempted reboot of the steamy thriller.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, good luck, Halle.
All started at Gothica.
Gothica. But yeah, so we're not doing any of those movies.
No.
We're doing a movie from 1997.
7, yeah.
The Devil's Advocate. Directed by Taylor Hackford.
Yeah, one of my faves.
So yeah, we're going to have an interesting discussion.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very adult.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be adult talk,
look,
isn't it?
It's going to be a bit of a blue show.
We'll try.
We'll keep it as
PG as we can. But look,
for the kiddies.
To be honest, there's a lot of nudity in this movie.
There's a huge amount of nudity,
which is fine.
Yeah, of course it's fine.
Everyone's fine with nudity.
It's whether or not it serves any kind of purpose in this movie. We will discuss.
That's a bit different. That's a bit
later.
Yeah, we'll discuss later.
I'm excited about that conversation because it's going to be bonkers. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome.
My name is Nicholas.
And I'm Tyson, and this is episode number 56. So you've got 55 other episodes you can jump back in and have a listen of. We're all over the iTunes store or anything you use to listen to your podcast, or YouTube. Or you can find us on Facebook, and a lot of our links to our episodes there.
Yeah, man.
But we'll go through that in a bit more detail at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But right now,
let's talk some trailers.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking
trailers. So
go for it. What are you starting at? Oh, hi.
Sam.
Oh, Sam.
Hi.
Yeah, make your dinner. Go.
Of course you can.
We'll pause because she's going to fucking make a microwave noise.
You know what, man?
We're going to keep going.
We're showing people how the sausage is made.
Fair deal.
I like it.
I like it. Nick's got more M&Ms, peanut M&Ms.
No, you leave them over there, please. Because I will smash that whole box.
What do you eat in the cinema? We've never talked about this.
Yeah, we have.
Have we?
Yeah. We've
definitely discussed this.
We've definitely
discussed this?
Yeah. I'm happy to mention it again. I'm a big popcorn and choc top man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Choc top.
Chop talk.
I take the first bite as the credits begin.
Samantha Jane, you've got a fan.
And then it's moving on to popcorn, and then depending how I'm feeling,
popcorn,
bit of chocolate after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Just maybe like some little kind of like mixed chocolate or lollies from the candy bar.
So like a mix, like a $2 mixed bag from the general store type deal.
I'm pretty picky about what I like. I like a coconut ruff. Or like a violet crumble.
Fucking specific.
raspberry white chocolate bullets. I'm very specific about what I want.
That's nice. I like that. I'm very much a chocolatey man myself. I will, because Sam prefers that. Her favourite is Maltesers, so we'll always get Maltesers.
Oh, I fucking love Maltesers.
But other than that, if it's as long as it's quick and it's it's not too messy. Popcorn I never do because the salt on my fingers. I'm a neat freak and I need to.
Even though I end up with all kinds of shit stuck in my teeth, like I spend half a movie getting fucking kernels out of my teeth.
Really?
I don't care. I love popcorn.
I can't do that. But I need a drink and I'm all good.
And a frozen Coke of some description.
Frozen Coke.
I love a slushy kind of style.
Seriously?
And I usually chuck a bit of the frozen raspberry at the bottom.
A fucking buffet when you go to the movies?
My hands are full when I get in there. Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should. We'll talk about it later. What you eat at? Do you eat anything at Gold Class? We'll talk about that.
I did recently go to Gold Class.
Yeah. That's right. Ready Player One.
Yeah, we had some like dips and Turkish bread.
Okay, but you're not
cheese platter.
Okay,
a couple of drinks.
So you're not getting into anything that's going to stink out the cinema.
We tried that once actually.
Wow.
One of our early.
You're those people.
We got as part of a present. We got the tickets and some vouchers for foods.
Yeah.
And so we were like, yeah, fuck it. So there's the deal at whatever it is where you get like 5 savoury dishes for $80, and you can choose whatever they are.
I like
so we went out, man. We got the sliders, we got the nachos, we got pizza, we did the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to eat. They're bringing out plate after plate, and all you've got is that little side table.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like shoveling nachos in, and it's like, fuck, what do we do?
That's intense.
So I can't even remember what movie we saw because we were too busy shoveling food in our faces.
That's hilarious.
We've learned our lesson.
Learned your lesson. I have when I go to gold class, I'll have a tea. No, I'll have a gin and tonic at the start. Then I'll have a fuck off a sundae with the chocolate.
Oh, we asked for a banana split, and they ran out of like the bananas.
Well, that's the thing.
We were
See,
very disappointed.
What you do is you ask for what they've got now, and you just go, "Can I have that without the fruit?" Or without the whatever it is. Yeah. And they go, oh, that's a banana split. Hey, thank you.
Hey,
yeah. Work your way around it. So we do that. And then always at about an hour into the movie, can I have a cup of tea?
Cup of tea.
I'll have a cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
I will definitely smash a cup of tea. I love it. It's my favourite.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice
and it has to be an hour in. Don't give me that thing straight up.
Oh,
I need to be digesting through the movie. So when you come in and I'm like knee deep in this thing, you better be ducking and not blocking anything.
They're pretty liberal with their kind of time descriptions because we were pretty adamant about, hey, towards the end of the film.
Towards the end.
No, I reckon it was 40 minutes in. These fuckers brought in our last drink. I was still on our because I wanted to finish with the rum and coke, and I was still halfway through a beer. And they bring out the rum and coke. And I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Seriously?
Towards the end of the movie, what are you doing?
Can you tell Nick's an old man, has a cup of tea, doesn't drink the booze? I'll have a shot of tequila at the end.
Oh, all right.
How's that? A shot of tequila.
Can you just line me up a fucking
just
four shots in a row?
4 shots and have the worm in the last one.
Worm in the last one, because as soon as the credits roll on this motherfucker, I'm throwing them back and I'm hitting the town.
Boom, I'm out. That was Infinity War to fucking kick it off.
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk. We're talking trailers.
We are
though.
talking trailers.
Are we talking trailers?
Yeah, we've got a few trailers to talk about. What do you think of Solo?
What do I think of Solo?
You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Heard about a job. Big shot gangster putting together crew.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer. I waited a long time for a shot like this. What do you think? Well, what do you know?
I look. I'm in, but I'm sick of doing
You're
this.
all in?
I'm sick of doing it. Like when it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, an origin story of Han Solo. Sure, who are they getting to play it? No, I don't know who you are.
Enric Ecclestone. That's not how you say it at all.
And I was like, yeah, it could be fun.
Enric?
I do like that there's a Star Wars story. I kind of like that they're doing that.
The Star Wars story thing, which they did for Rogue One as well. I think that's a nice way to frame it.
It is. It's a spin-off. And
it's for idiots, though. Like, cause, I mean, who do we think it's going to be the fucking story of the guy that invented the soft drink? Is that what they think it's going to be?
They did do what was the McDonald's? Michael Keaton. What was that called? The inventor of McDonald's.
Founder.
Fuck off. No one's watching that.
No. Apparently it's good, but no one did see that.
Oh really?
No one
it's
watched
good.
it.
Oh,
apparently it's good.
Now I need to see it. But Ron Howard's directing this thing, Tys.
He is.
What was the last thing he did that you liked? Go on, give it a shot.
That's a tough question.
Exactly.
His name. Sorry, I just want to get his name right. It's Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah,
what did Alden Ehrenreich do? Before
no,
this?
I think we talked about this last time we talked about it. He was
I don't remember
from
shit.
Hail Caesar. And he's one of the I mean, I actually found Hail Caesar to be incredibly entertaining, but he was definitely one of the brightest points of that film as well.
He was good.
He
was very good.
Which I think it's a great film. And he's popped up in a few things here and there.
The last thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. The last Ron Howard thing
that you liked was
last
was
Ron
it
Howard
in the
directed.
Heart of the Sea.
It was not in the Heart of the Sea.
That
was
it Rush?
I have not seen Rush, but I've heard it's okay.
I would like to watch that.
It's definitely none of these Dan Brown.
It's not Dan anything
Brown
to do with Dan Brown.
adaptations
Dan Brown can
do
suck
you know
it.
what? I'll comfortably say Frost Nixon is an exceptionally good film.
I actually really like that.
And I think I might have mentioned this at one point as well on the show.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested, The Missing from 2003, the weird kind of like spooky Western with Cate Blanchett, is thumbs up from me if you can track that down, because it's actually it's one of those forgotten movies that no one knows it really even happened anymore, because it's hard to find on DVD, on Blu-ray.
It is, yeah.
It's fucking great.
I remember liking it.
I
It had a
recommend
real-
big thumbs up from me.
It was like a No Country for Old Men before No Country hit kind of feel.
It had a bit of that kind of energy to it. I think it's probably a little bit more straightforward in its structure, but it's dealing with some similar issues, I think.
But hands down, your favourite Ron Howard while we're talking about him? Go on.
Jesus.
Go on.
It'll be early Ron Howard.
Yeah, mine is Willow. Back to back Willow.
Oh, Willow.
Fuck everything else.
God,
Willow.
Willow's a great
Oh,
movie.
Night Shift is in here. Oh, no, it's still Willow. Get stuffed.
I will say...
Say Far and Away.
No, it's not Far and Away.
Say Cocoon.
No, it's not Cocoon.
All
I
right.
think it's Apollo 13. I think Apollo 13 is pretty close to perfection.
Apollo 13. God, it's good, isn't it?
there's not really.
That was like the first space drama that really had me on the edge of my seat. Even though I knew the ending, it was still intense. I loved that as a kid.
Apollo 13 is
Apollo 13.
one of those infinitely rewatchable films.
So good.
And it's so good that you could literally have anything else that you need to be doing, and if you stumbled across that on television, you will be cancelling those other things. And there are only a few movies that good, and Apollo 13, I think, is one of them.
That's true.
Yeah, so look, Ron Howard is an interesting choice. I don't mind where this movie's going. It looks like it's got a fun vibe, although it's kind of,
I just don't. You know what I'm scared of?
What's
I'm
that?
scared of them just ticking boxes like what Rogue One did.
100%. Well, we already see one of the ticking boxes in this. We see the poker game that he wins the fucking Millennium Falcon in.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, great. I don't think this is, from a storytelling perspective, prequels, I think, can be really self-gratifying kind of things for a writer, I think. Because it gives you an opportunity to basically write an entire screenplay that is just paying off things that we already know happen.
Yeah.
And so
the entirety of Rogue One was this.
Well, exactly. And look, Rogue One, I think, was able to do some things really well and some things not as well. So for me, I don't give a fuck about watching him win the Millennium Falcon.
No.
I just want to see a really good story told.
Yeah.
Whether or not that is going to be the case, or if it's just going to be a whole bunch of fan service, we actually don't know yet.
No, that's
I honestly
true.
can't
I
even
want
tell
a
you.
rad smuggler movie. Give me.
Looks like we're going to see like a heist movie.
Yeah.
It looks like that because I feel like that there's a train
sequence, like a heist or something.
That I think is going to be a heist.
Yeah.
And if that's the focus of the movie, if we're getting like Ocean's 11 but set in the Star Wars universe,
Ocean's 11 with a mash of Firefly, man, that's what you want. That's what you want.
I'm on board for that.
Bring
if
that
we
on.
get like this ragtag bunch of this team that they have to assemble to pull off this heist, we could be talking about something really great.
Yeah.
And I could be really up for it.
I could be up for that.
If it's just, this is him getting the Falcon, this is him meeting Chewie, this is him fucking
getting the gun that everyone loves. Which you kind of see that in the trailer. I'm like, no, Woody Harrelson just hands him a gun.
I don't care how he got those pants.
Or the vest. Who
That's what I
gives a
mean.
fuck?
I love that he's like the vest.
He's in the vest already?
The vest and the pants with the white stripe
Exactly.
down them.
I'm like,
if it
dude.
I don't care. Are we going to see him like walk into a shop and go, oh, I like that vest?
Yeah.
And like,
but the thing is, are you telling me he's been wearing the same thing for 20 years? Is that what's happening here? Like, come on.
yeah, people have different clothes. But this is the problem with the fan service
Do you know what
stuff.
me and Tys looked like 20 years ago? Fucking hell, that was disgusting.
Mate, I had blonde tips.
Oh, really?
I went through blonde
You
tips.
sexy
So
fucker.
this is the thing.
I wore pants that could fit a family of five.
Yeah, I meant wide-legged
Massive
pants. Wide-legged.
Yeah, these weren't bell bottoms. These were just
the more
fucking
pockets,
stupid.
the better.
Yeah.
Like, I was all about cargo
you were a
pants
cargo
with,
guy?
like, extra pockets.
That wasn't me. I was corduroy. I
did cords
all
for a
the way.
little bit.
Yeah, cords.
Yeah.
Black cords. And they were just fucking massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would move when the wind blew. It was
Yeah,
stupid.
good.
No, not good.
Good. Yeah, well, and this is the thing, like, so instead of it being, this is the problem with these things, is because it's meant to be 20 years or so before we see him in A New Hope.
Yeah.
He's not the same dude.
Come
So
on.
he shouldn't be wearing the same shit. He shouldn't have the same fucking haircut. Things can change. So I don't want it
Give
to
him
just
a
be.
hat.
I think what they've done with Donald Glover is actually heaps better because he looks like
Lando.
he looks like a real fucking young, sick, like
Yeah, man.
pimped up version of
Billy
Lando.
D, yeah.
Who obviously, if you get this vibe from Lando that he was a real fucking real player,
a real like
and then
knew everyone.
kind of calmed it down when he and then ended up obviously as like this diplomat at Cloud City.
What was he at Cloud City? Was he the mayor?
The mayor.
Was he a mayor?
Did he have a mayoral race?
No, but did he have like?
Did he like drive around in one of those little cars with a loudspeaker and his picture and he was just like,
Hello, everyone.
elect me. What's his fucking name?
Vote one for
Lando Calrissian.
Who are you voting for in the next election? Vote one, Lando Calrissian. He'll make sure that your taxes are really low, and that you can gamble all night.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, gambling restrictions gone.
Look, I'm in. I'm going to see this at the
You're all
cinema.
in.
I would like to see this.
You
at the
liked
cinema.
this trailer, yeah.
I did.
It got you
Because the first
buzzed
one,
up.
yeah, the first one did fuck all for me.
Yeah, and it's actually funny. Like, I watched the first trailer after watching this new one.
Yeah.
they're actually quite similar.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, I completely agree with you. I think this second trailer is heaps better.
Yeah.
And I was struggling to put my finger on why. it's just
What
a
is it?
little bit more
What is it?
efficiently cut. It's just a little bit more kind of like
a little bit more story.
its choices of shots are just
Yeah.
a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just got a little bit more energy to it. It's a bit more kinetic. And it's like it's simple changes. It's not like
It's not
Suicide
massive.
Squad when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
went from
We are the baddest of the bad.
this is
to...
the trailer, and then we suddenly did that Queen song and everything went fluoro, and they were like, holy shit, we have to change this whole movie now.
Oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just
off.
subtle changes.
Why did they do that?
Yeah,
God
whatever.
damn it, Suicide.
Yeah, so, all right, well, we'll see how we go, huh?
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Solo. There we go.
Let's give it
It's
up.
coming, like, it freaks me out that it's coming out in, like, we can see this in, like, 6 weeks.
Really? What?
Yeah, May. It's coming out in May.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. May.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Like,
Alright.
so, like 2 weeks after we watch Infinity War, we can watch
We can
another
watch
Star Wars
Another
movie.
Star Wars movie.
And I feel
That's
like I'm
kinda
still
good. Well,
kind of
it
coming
needs
down
to-
from The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
so.
well, it needs to have its space from the canon ones, I guess. They're the ones that are in canon.
That's why I thought they would push it away a little bit further.
Yeah.
Because now from this, we're not getting another one for another 18 months or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about...
Let's talk my one.
Yeah.
Let's talk, what is it called? The Cleanse.
The Cleanse.
It's called The Cleanse, or it's called The Master Cleanse, depending on which country you live in.
Are you searching for something? Wish you could restart. Well, now you can.
Okay, everybody. Who's ready to change their lives today?
Join us.
Welcome.
As you try a brand new program and face your demons today.
Come on, let it out.
What?
Out.
Thank you so much. And now,
Your cleansing kit. Each kit contains 4 drinks that you must consume by the end of the day. The next stage will be the elimination process.
Question: when you say elimination process, you mean like?
Is that which country which one do we get?
We get The Cleanse. Yeah. Yeah. Look, first time director, Bobby Miller. Well, this is his second film, but everything,
What was his first
everything
film?
else is everything else is
Is it?
Short film, sorry. Hang on. Let me look
Holiday
at it.
Road.
That's the one. Holiday Road.
Holiday
I don't know what so it's a bit starring John. Do you say
It's
Johnny?
an anthology, so it's with like 12 other directors. So.
Johnny Galecki?
Yeah.
Johnny Galecki from
Good old Johnny Galecki.
from Roseanne, not from fucking Big Bang Theory.
Roseanne.
From Roseanne. Thank you very much. Which has made a comeback, by the way.
Yeah, well, let's not be too happy about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's lost her mind, Roseanne.
Oh. Okay. But yes, Johnny Galecki goes to kind of a retreat place where he wants to get a cleanse, and it's all the ticking of the boxes that I love, that I hate humans for. They're yelling until you feel like you've let something out. Fuck off.
It does seem like it's kind of cashing in on all those
It
wellness
is.
clinic kind of horse shit.
Horseshit bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a massive lobster and horns vibe from this. Like,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah,
Horns.
Remember that?
Yeah,
movie?
I
It was
love
good.
horns.
Yeah, I know you do. So yeah, it's kind of a serious topic, but with not a serious topic, a comedy feel, but with
Sounds
little
like
bit.
it's pretty black comedy,
Yeah, black comedy with a hidden message in there for people. So he goes to this.
Well, it might be kind of satirizing the idea of these
The
kind
retreat
of retreats,
place, yeah. You need to
and
watch The Lobster, man. It was always fucking
which obviously
gold.
that's actually popped up on streaming now, so I will be able to watch that at some
Please
point.
do.
I'm very
Everyone
excited.
else, watch it with Tyson. But yeah, he goes.
come to my house.
Tyson's
and we'll watch it
house,
together.
and everyone watch it with him. But yeah, he goes there, and he has to drink all these drinks within one day to cleanse, and then you throw up all the badness and all that stuff. And he's getting over a breakup at the time, and all this stuff comes out of him. And then for some reason, the thing that comes out of him is actually alive and becomes like a creature.
Yeah, it's a little cute little
And it's a
lizard
cute little,
demon
almost
thing.
like demon toad or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
And it's
It is. It's like I know, like it's obviously designed to be
Yeah.
kind of endearing. So I think we're going to get some gags out of it. Something similar to like what was that movie with Rob Corddry where it was like they had a baby or something. No, what was it? Little Evil. No, not Little Evil. That's the one with
Warm Bodies? Was it Warm
Nah.
Bodies? No.
Oh, it's I don't know.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
But yeah, it looks. Look, it's
so
not.
the gags could come from the fact that this cute-looking thing then goes and like
becomes
chomps on people's faces.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to I can see already where it's going. Like a lot of the same ticking boxes, making fun of those cleansing places and all that stuff. And at the end of it, it has a little, well, maybe you have to like the things that you're trying to expel from your body in order to become the same person. There's nothing new about this movie. It's just it looks kind of cute.
It looks charming.
And the leader of the cleanse is Angelica Houston, which I'm fucking in. Anything she does, I'm in.
Well, that's we need to see more of Angelica Houston. It's,
she was in the last thing I saw her in was Transparent, which. Very questionable. A lot of bad stuff going on, but watch Transparent just for her. She's fucking gold.
Yeah, great.
I love it. So The Cleanse.
Yeah, I
look. I'm going to watch it if it becomes free, but that's about
it'll be I think it'll end up going straight to iTunes, and I'd pay to rent that if it was one of those nights where I'm like, why not? Could be worthwhile.
Could be worse.
Look,
it could be worse.
It's actually surprisingly for a week of not a lot of trailers. 3 films and that's the third one we're going to talk about. That I could imagine myself very easily just going, I'm going to watch that. Shit, yeah.
Exactly.
And that's not always the case for our trailers section.
No, I think.
I will talk about a movie called Upgrade.
Was it Upgrade?
I actually probably don't even know if that's correct. Is that what it was called?
Upgrade? Update? It was up something.
Here's the thing. 4 guys murdered my wife.
Don't you fucking touch her!
If I could find those men, I'd do it.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it STEM, a computer chip that has the potential to change everything. It's a new, better brain. Oh my God.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you.
Can anybody else hear you?
No, only you. May I point something out? In the drone surveillance footage, Zerk Brantner, Marine Corps, address 414 Citrus, Newground. You'll need a plan.
I got this.
This doesn't seem like a well-thought-out plan. I need your permission to operate independently.
Permission granted!
Thank you.
What the fuck? Stay down, man. Stay down, he's got a knife!
I see that. We have a knife, too. You now have full control again, Gray.
No, it was Upgrade.
It is Upgrade?
Logan Marshall Green.
Logan Marshall Green, who is the poor man's Tom Hardy.
He really is. They need to play brothers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him because I feel like he's kind of stolen his career. Poor old. What was his name again in fucking
Logan
The OC?
I never watched The OC. I always because Dawson's hadn't finished yet, and I thought that OC was trying to OC was trying to take over Dawson. So I was like, no, there is only one.
OC's
and
pretty
everyone
great.
was like, Nick, do you remember 90210? I was like, yeah, I watched that too. Like, yeah, see,
yeah,
come on, man.
OC is pretty great. Trey Ryan's brother.
Trey Ryan's brother.
Yeah, who was the cause of much uproar at the end of the second season. Anyway, so yes, Upgrade. Now, I saw this trailer advertised and scrolled straight past it.
Right, of course.
It played automatically after a different trailer, and I was like, and let it go. Right?
And then about 2 minutes... No,
and then by the time the trailer finished, I was on board. This thing looks fantastic.
This thing looks so cheap, but so fun.
So fun.
Fun and nasty.
So it's a story about a guy. It's in the future. Logan Marshall, Green, suffers a
car accident.
Yeah, some kind of accident which is going to leave him paraplegic.
Yeah.
But I'm
going to do this. How funny is this?
Yeah, Hey, that's what we should do every time.
Yeah, I think we should.
So there's a technological advancement where it looks as though you can actually put like a chip into your spine and it will control your nervous system for you.
Yeah.
Like not control it, but help recover any kind of issues like that because it's no longer your brain sending the signals, it's this other thing. Well, it turns out that this thing actually talks to him.
Like a Jarvis.
Yeah. And says to him, hey, by the way,
I can totally...
because his wife, and that's right, his wife and child get murdered. It's an attack. He gets attacked.
Oh, that's right.
And the thing says to him, "Oh, I can tell you who these people are."
That's right.
And he goes,
"Well,
oh, well, fuck it, let's go."
Let's go.
Anyway, when he
That's
goes
right.
there, he kind of, it's more than he bargained
He thinks
for.
he's going to jump in.
And he's about to get his ass handed to him. And the chip says to him, "Would you like me to take over?"
Take over? Yeah.
And he's like, "Yes, take over." When he's about to get... And then he kicks some serious fucking ass.
Basically turns into Neo via Matrix
while
Reloaded,
at the
and
same
he's just
time
fucking badass.
being so aware of his own
actions and what
like
he's
the
doing.
fact that he's like,
"Oh my god, I just busted that guy into the face."
exactly. And so the look on his face is like, "Oh,
And the thing that got me
get
was,
out of the way, buddy,"
was the fact that he in the middle of it he goes, "Stop getting up!" Like seriously,
Seriously, you need to stay down.
Just stay down. Just stay down.
Yeah.
And then that ends. I'm not going to ruin anything. He literally like rips out the Adam's apple of the guy. I'm like, whoa.
There is some gnarly violence. Like, it is violent, and I was caught off guard. Like, limbs are breaking. There is blood everywhere.
That guy is dead. That guy's really
looks like
dead.
real classic, kind of like the Raid kind of style. Like, we are not pulling any punches here. You're seeing the carnage of it.
You're seeing some messed up shit.
But it looks really funny though, because of the situation that he finds himself in. It lends itself to a lot of humor, because he doesn't want. He's so unaware of it. He's just this normal kind of guy.
Yeah. I'm getting a Knight Rider vibe.
Yeah, it's
How
almost like if
do you know
what
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's probably a very similar relationship.
Yeah,
that'll end up being.
Like they're getting into the same thing.
And then the clincher, the absolute clincher, was that it's written and directed by Lee Winnell, Australia's own Lee Winnell, creator of the Saw franchise with James Wan,
who acted in the first one.
He was the
other guy in the bar.
He's had a hand in some interesting screenplays. Like, I'm still waiting for him to really find his feet. He wrote a movie was involved in the writing of a movie called Cooties.
Did he have anything to do with The Invitation? No, that was someone different. No,
that was Karen Kisma. Yeah, I think he wrote.
Seriously,
Cooties.
he looks
he did.
so much like Tom Hardy's brother.
That's
like
ridiculous,
it is really bizarre.
And yeah, so Lee Winnell, I think
love him.
he's a real genre guy, like a genre lover, and I think so. This is his ode to like bonkers action cinema.
Yeah,
I have full faith that he's going to pull it off. I think it's going to be great. Yeah, so I think if this one has not been on your radar at all,
seriously, just look at the trailer.
Thoroughly
and
recommend
I'm
watching
pretty
the
sure
trailer.
you'll be all over it.
If you are in any way an action fan, there is no way you would see this trailer and not want
Oh no, he didn't read out his apple.
That's right. That's a really gross moment. We won't ruin it. Let people discover
we're
it
just going to
themselves.
leave that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Upgrade. So watch the trailer, because that's going to be Saturday night fun for me.
That is
100%. Couple of drinks,
turned up quite
order a
loudly.
pizza.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's not going to go for long. Believe me.
Oh, it'll be an hour and 30 minutes. This will be under 90 minutes.
Yeah, this will be under 90 minutes.
Which
has got nowhere to go.
Perfection.
Bring it on.
Yeah, it looks violent as fuck. Anyway, so that's our Talking Trailers.
From now on, we will do Talking Trailers while watching the trailer.
Play the trailer.
Dude,
repeat. I like
why the fuck
Good
did we
idea.
not think of this shit?
That's dumb.
There you go.
We're dumb.
We're not dumb. We're new. We're still newbies to this podcast.
56 episodes.
We're still new.
We haven't got our shit sorted by now. All right. So I think it's time for our feature presentation, my man.
Feature press. Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Okay. So here we are, Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate. It's 1997.
It is 1997.
I hadn't heard of Taylor Hackford yet. What is your Taylor Hackford movie?
Well, God, I guess it has to be Ray by default, because I can't think of any.
You can't think of any other.
Didn't he do that fucking? Really? Didn't he do Blindside? Was that him?
Really?
I think it might have been. I feel like Taylor Hackford is not that great a director. No, he didn't do.
Ray was amazing. Okay, Ray was amazing and should have.
You're
won
a
Best
huge
Picture.
fan of Ray.
I'm a huge fan
I
of
like Ray a lot. I don't think
But the
I'm
thing-
of the same opinion of that.
I think a lot. that took you a while to get out. No, but I think a lot of people are in
Who am
your
I thinking
category,
of?
which is fine because Ray ends just with a bleh. Like there is literally nothing at the end of that movie, and like everyone knows, or everyone should know, that the end of the movie is what you are thinking of when you exit that cinema.
It was hard though for something like Ray because he hadn't died yet, and so it was kind of there was no ending at the time the movie came out.
That's true, but end it. You know what? End it with Blues Brothers. End it with something like that.
Yeah.
End it on a song. End it on a song, man.
Oh, how about Against All Odds? I have to watch that. I love that song. So I guess it has to be then. Oh man, he did that White Nights movie. Is that dancing movie? It is.
What
that movie with Baryshnikov?
Oh wow!
Get out of town.
I watched The Comedian. I watched that.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched that.
There we go. Well, it turns out well, look, for me, Taylor Hackford is probably Proof of Life is a stinker.
Are you sure it wasn't Phil Collins?
Yeah,
it was a Phil Collins movie.
Phil Collins wrote the theme song. That's Take a Look at Me Now. It's a fucking classic song.
Man.
So yeah, look, I'm not a Taylor Hackford head. I'll be honest. I don't really care.
Amazing.
And to be quite honest, man, this movie, this is not one of those movies that like. I was resistant to this for a while. This is like it wasn't like when I was 15 or 16.
I thought Taylor Hackford was dead. No, am I wrong?
I don't know.
Does
it say he's dead?
No, he's not dead.
I mean, he's not dead.
No. Okay, fair deal. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah,
what were you going to say?
So this wasn't one of those movies that I saw like 100 times when I was a teenager.
No, I saw it once.
I saw it once at the video store when I was working at the video store. And
exactly.
it did very little for me, to be honest. Like I was just kind of like, this is garbage.
Well, how old were we when we watched this?
I was probably 19.
Yeah, so I was 19 as well. And unfortunately, a 19-year-old Nick watched it. The reason I watched it is because I was a massive fan even back then of Al Pacino.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of, that's that perfect age, really, because that's when you kind of start, understanding the idea of these classic actors, and you've kind of started to work your way through.
Wow.
These guys have just turned up in everything. They keep getting their name talked about when it's talked about the greatest actors of all time, and so you go, all right, cool, let's go to
their back catalogue because we have it.
Yeah, exactly.
And go from there. So I watched this, and unfortunately, I liked courtroom movies, which is this has kind of got that feel. It's got a very heavy law kind of theme to it because it's all based around the law, and
the law,
which I loved. I am the law. I am the law. So from that, which I loved, but then there was a lot of nudity, and I got distracted by titties, and it's not my fault. I was young, and to be honest, kind of the same thing happened last night.
It's one of those movies though that. And
God damn,
I mean,
titties.
like my girlfriend was attuned. She must have realized that there was nudity on the screen because I'm sitting, taking notes for the show, watching the movie, and in she comes right at one of the more opportune moments.
That's awesome.
And
she's like,
I got the, what are you watching? But it's more so awesome. And she made a very good point.
Yeah.
I'm now more interested in. What must it be like to have to fucking film these scenes?
Yeah, man.
Because then she was saying, God, how awkward it must be. Because it was the sex scene with
with Charlize?
The interchangeable faces with Charlize and Connie Nielsen.
Which we'll get to that, by the way. What the fuck was
we'll
the
get
point
to
of
that in the story element at some point.
Cool.
But like, it's pretty full on. It's not like obviously there are.
It's not original sin category.
Yeah, it's no Basic Instinct. It's not Body of Evidence. Any of those.
It's not Wild Things.
Yeah. I'd say it's probably on par with Wild Things. Yeah,
yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah. It's up there.
But you've got to kind of think, God, someone yells cut, and you just go.
And someone has to run with a towel.
And they're just like, oh yeah, okay,
they're
great.
on the floor.
I was just grinding up and getting all in there.
Exactly.
Would
it be harder? Probably wouldn't. It'd be hard for both parties.
Oh, absolutely.
Because pardon me. Because the female is always completely starkers, right?
Well,
there has very rarely been a penis. You very rarely see a penis. That's because you're not allowed to see an erect penis.
No,
that's the law. But it's hard also. It's hard also for the guy because all of that triggers stuff.
Well, you've got to obviously you've got to keep it really fucking professional.
Exactly.
Man. Like you've got to be like 100%. Like
you got to strap that thing up and put it in.
You've also just got to make sure that it's like everything is like you've got to be so.
You got to make sure that she is 100% comfortable.
Yeah.
Are you all right? Is any just?
Oh man, it'd just be awful. It'd just be awful.
It would be fucked.
Like it's one of the I think
unless you find that's
it's one of those kind of things that you think about it and you like. Idiots sit there and go, oh fuck, it'd be so good to be a Hollywood actor, man. I get to like pretend to have sex with all these really hot women. No, it would be awful.
Dude,
it
you've
would
got
be
at least
absolutely awful.
25 people behind that camera.
Yep.
Like seriously, there's no way. and that's why when I think of that, when you're what you just said, because we're at a certain age where you're like, You don't just see titties and go, hey, titties, don't do that anymore. You go, oh, they handled that nicely. Okay, that would have been uncomfortable, but, they did that okay.
Yeah. My immediate thought now is the relevance of it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
why is this relevant?
Why is it relevant? Because, and this is, I think we're living a little bit in a time which draws that attention to us because...
Well, this is...
That's not fair. 8 times out of 10, let's say 7 or 8 times out of 10.
Sure.
The only reason...
is to get asses in the seats.
Is because some producer... third-level producer. It's that gag from Family Guy when they're making what is it? The Age of Innocence with Winona, and it's like, oh, she gets a top off.
Can we have a,
we got a movie.
Oh, we got a movie now. We got a movie.
No, we got a movie.
Okay, let's go. Action.
And that's what
I
think.
totally
it's a big part of it, and it's
is.
actually kind of. I was watching this and like, fuck, man, that scene in the dressing room. With
in the dressing room,
with
in the dressing room,
the friend, the friend, and it's the first time she goes demon face.
Yeah.
She has a top off for a very long time.
She does.
And
there's no
the camera just lingers on it, and it's conversation just about her boobs.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
There's no need for those boobs to be out.
It's not necessary.
You don't think?
Well, I mean, it could be
It could be her boobs in a bra.
It could be. Or it could be something else.
Or a negligee.
Or a negligee.
I don't even know what that is.
Or it could be a different context to the conversation.
Right, okay.
Yeah?
Could be a nose instead.
It could have been a nose.
There you go.
Yep. Could have been like butt. Maybe she had like a tummy tuck.
You don't think it was showing maybe what Charlize, the country girl, has gotten herself into in the middle of New York?
Of course.
Yeah.
You can always find a way to justify it. But this is what I mean. You can always get around that. And this is just I use inverted commas, this is an adult thriller.
Yes, this is.
Right?
Yes.
Like we've got people talking about whether or not they've circumcised or not, and that's a plot point.
Yeah, it is.
Whether or not he has foreskin is a plot point.
Is he cut? And I was like, wow, we're cutting the bullshit.
Yeah, no, there's no bullshit in this.
Yeah.
The finale consists of a guy trying to force his 2 children to fuck each other.
Yeah, that is weird.
So like this is and I'm inverted commas. This is an adult thriller.
Yes,
but it gets to a point where you kind of just go. Someone sat down and said, let's make an adult thriller.
Yeah.
Let's throw as many tits and butts
and
dicks
in there.
and
let's
fucks.
Get a lot of...
Everyone swears really without any tact, and everyone talks about, like being like really sexy and shit.
But the thing is for me, so if we're going to jump on this topic, the thing is for me, it could have, because it was too borderline for me. If you're going to do a movie where it is about... Satan or Lucifer, and he is controlling this world, and he kind of, has a lot of booze and drugs and whatever. Go to the limit for me. Don't borderline it. And this kind of borderlines it for me. I was like, no. If you're going to show me everything...
Well, yeah, I guess maybe, is that worse? Is it worse that they go, oh, yeah, we're going to make a really legit thriller about the devil, which obviously means the character of the devil has always been highly sexualized because it is about sinful pleasures.
Because people think sex is a sin. But,
which is fucking... Yeah. Anyway... So maybe you're right, because then there's someone going, oh, yeah, go as far as you can, but also make sure that we can still put this in a cinema, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like the art is always going to be compromised because you've got it from 2 different sides. You've got someone who wants to do, like, let's really push the boundaries of the way Satan is represented in popular culture and fiction.
Yep. And
fiction.
then fiction.
And then we've also got dudes on the other side saying, oh, yeah, go, for sure. But can it be Charlize Theron, and can we keep it just this north of NC-17 so that 15-year-old kids want to sneak in and won't get arrested?
Yeah, exactly. They won't get any of the plot, but they'll be there for the titties.
So it's a bit of a...
That's totally true. Yeah. And one of the scenes that come to mind that was very tasteful but very, very sadistic and kind of very evil was when they were at the salsa bar. And it was a table full of women.
Oh yeah,
it was very subtle and very
subtle.
It was subtle. He didn't know what was going on. He just whispers to the girl and then lifts up like the table cloth.
Yeah,
and she goes under the tablecloth. And I was like, and he just smiles. And I'm like, this is what I wanted. This is what sinister, very sinister devil. Rather than either go in your face, don't borderline it. That's all I wanted. Just don't borderline it. But yeah.
He was eyeballing Keanu while he was getting a blowjob.
And Keanu is his son.
Yeah, that's a good point. Spoilers for Devil's Advocate.
No one's watching this thing. No one's watching this.
No, do you know what? It's still got a really kind of... It does have a good reputation. I actually, from a little bit of Googling...
Go on.
Because I was like, what do people think of this movie? I wanted to find out.
Sure.
Because I know it wasn't particularly reviewed well, but it has a relatively high IMDb score.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, it's mid-sevens,
Like,
which
seriously?
is
That's
pretty...
kind of
For something
high.
like this, I was like, ooh, really?
Maybe
Mid-sevens?
6.
I would have thought like a 6.8. That was where I'd put $100 that it wouldn't have been over 7.
Yeah.
Right? So I did a bit of Googling. Because I wanted to find out what is the public perception of this film. And it's actually well-liked.
Right.
And a lot of the things I read are saying how it was critically kind of not very successful.
But
It's almost like gained...
notoriety.
And like esteem as it's gone on.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not on board for that.
Look, you didn't like it as much as me, but
I thought I was going to like it a lot more.
What did you think when you went in when we said 90s thriller?
Here's
What
the thing.
were you thinking?
So I'm going to give an example.
Go for it.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
Is a very adult thriller.
Yes.
There are a lot of things in that movie that teenage boys used to freeze frame.
Yeah.
Right? Having said that...
If you were in a VHS, unfortunately that's where the TV would flicker because
anytime you rented it, it's exactly right. Every time, if you rented Basic Instinct, the tracking would fade in that interrogation
right in that
scene.
section. Yeah.
Having said that, it is an exceptionally good film.
Yeah, Verhoeven.
It's Verhoeven doing what Verhoeven does best.
Really well.
That is his bread and butter.
Yeah, man.
It is so entertaining. I don't feel like this movie is that. I feel like this movie is 2 hours of horse shit.
2 and 20.
Legal bullshit.
Fuck.
Yep. And then 20 minutes of like bonkers amazing.
Oh, right.
Where it just like, it finally becomes the movie that I want it to be.
Yeah.
In that last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just takes way too long to get there.
Really?
Way too long to get there.
the last 20 minutes?
Because it actually just goes, you know what?
Fuck it.
Fucking A. Here it is,
Let
man.
it fly.
We're just going to go for it. The moment he turned into a young Keanu Reeves angel face.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
I was like,
Really?
Finally, this movie has just gone all the way with it.
That section that you're talking about was the only things that came out of my mouth were I was like, wow, now we have gone full 90s. The 90s has hit the fire is so fucking fake.
Yeah.
And
the fire's so fake. It's so bad.
Amazing. And the thing with his and the angel thing in the back, and I was
so
like,
trash.
what is going
like,
on?
I mean this I mean it in a way that it finally embraced the movie that it should have been.
Yeah,
it should have been this movie all the way through. Because the problem with we have what this movie wants to be already. We have that in Angel Heart, which is a real fucking like depressing, super serious, like crazy fucking just like rip your heart out depressing movie about the devil. Yeah, the devil being like taking the form of an actual person and like fucking up with people's lives. This movie should have been, a really just slick as fuck, tacky legal thing. It does not need to go for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It does not need to have so much emphasis on court cases that I literally do not care. Who cares what happens to Craig T. Nelson's character?
Yeah, seriously.
Nobody.
No one.
Who cares? Like Delroy Lindo, man.
The first one, though, that kind of made sense and that was integral to the story. But
it was.
But that's it.
But then
like
we spent 15 minutes doing this fucking animal cruelty case.
Yeah.
All we needed to see was that one of his clients is this voodoo guy.
Yeah.
And he has been arrested and charged for slaughtering a goat. And so it leads you to makes you believe, there's some shady shit going on.
But you
voodoo,
could do that
blah,
in
blah.
another. Did you hear that dog just?
Yeah.
Can you shut that?
Hey,
dog?
doggy dog.
Yeah. Oh, big dog. Yeah, big dog. Big dog.
No, that didn't help.
No, that didn't help. You can do that in other ways. Instead of showing that he's friends with a voodoo guy or all of that stuff, show that he's the devil in something else, something really sinister. Not drinking the blood of a fucking goat and I want you to take this court case and all that crap.
Well, I think more
Don't
than anything,
do
it was
that.
just like so that he had, he obviously had his hand in a lot of pies.
A lot of pies.
Yeah,
there's another way to show that.
Yeah.
Though.
And look, maybe, I mean, I feel bad for anyone that practices voodoo now because it's kind of like, well, you're the devil's tool, apparently.
Yeah, of course you are.
You can't just,
You can't just practice voodoo? No, man.
Well, I don't know.
Have you seen
much.
Candyman?
I haven't seen much. I don't know much about voodoo.
Dude.
It probably is inherently evil. I've got no idea.
Pretty much, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know, man. Because I was watching this and I was trying to follow what was happening with the Craig T. Nelson case.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people are talking about stuff, and it's got all, his paperwork, and it's
Yeah,
researching, and it's
shredding section?
interviews.
What the fuck was that?
And after about half an hour of it, I was just like, why do I don't, this doesn't matter. Why do I care?
Yeah.
Why do I care? It should have been a montage. It should have been like, you've got the case. It should have been a montage of him doing his thing.
Overruled,
and then
sustained.
Blah, 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 blah. And then the
Bang,
scene
bang.
with the witness. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Done and done.
I didn't
and then we
mind-
find out that he actually, so that we find out he actually is guilty, and that's an important kind of character growth for him because he got him off anyway.
Yeah. I would have liked that. But I liked the 2 hours that you're talking about. I liked, apart from the 2 sections with the voodoo, that wasn't needed, and the I hate that I'm going to say this, but he's the actor who ended up being done for
Jeffrey
Perfume.
Jones.
Thank you,
Eddie Bazoo.
Yeah.
I have never heard of, like, seriously. You know when you come out of a movie and you're like, what was that character's name? What was that character's name? I will never forget
Really?
Eddie Bazoon because
Eddie
they
Bazoon.
say it
Eddie Bazoon.
40 fucking thousand times.
They really
Eddie
do.
Bazoon. Eddie Bazoon. What the
I know, it was
I
a
know
lot.
his name.
But yeah, his section, get rid of that, because you didn't need that, and get rid of the voodoo,
Well,
and
not
the
only
movie
that,
would have been awesome.
His death is also ridiculous. He's
I think
like
it was hilarious.
the Ghost Runners.
Yeah,
that
I
it's
love
like,
that. That was full 90s. I was like, yeah, look at this devil scariness going on.
I didn't understand what was going on in that because it was kind of like, so this is a big problem. So the people that die in this film,
sure,
right? There's what is Al Pacino's role in that? Is he like? Is he getting inside their heads? Did he infect the bums? Are the bums real? Are the bums demons? Were they just bums and they were trying to rob him and he just put him in a situation where he would stumble across them? Were the runners ghosts or were they not ghosts?
Or did he imagine it?
Did he imagine? Well, then they ran past him normally.
Yeah.
And I was like, but hang on. But
this is what I think this movie did well. I think it really blurred the lines well of, yes, you're in the devil's world, but you don't know who's real and who's fake. Because Keanu's secretary that was there and wasn't there and then made his, spoilers, or made his wife, slash herself. Like, not slash herself, but see the devil.
She was nasty. The
she
secretary.
was good. She was good.
Yeah, good
But
performance.
yeah, was she a real person? You know, maybe all of these things were just made up.
You reckon the secretary wasn't real?
I think the secretary wasn't real because at the end when he comes out and does the...
You have just blown my mind.
Exactly. The Victorians, the Vanilla Sky shot of the movie. When they do that...
Oh my God, the Vanilla Sky shot. Wasn't that amazing? Out of nowhere, I was like...
That is a full... And because they panned back, that's the only way I knew it was real. I'm like, no, you've paid money to do this.
You did this.
Shit.
You know what? Because it was...
I looked it up. It was similar. It was the same time.
Well, Vanilla Sky is a remake of that Open Your Eyes movie, which they did the same thing in.
Yeah.
I was like, clever.
But yeah, at that point, he turns around and the secretary is gone. And I'm like, well, clearly she doesn't actually exist. But how the fuck?
No, because that was the scene that led straight to him going to see Pacino.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was
You
like
think he stepped out
he stepped
and-
into his world for that second. Maybe though.
See, this is the thing. This is why I like the blur. This is why I like the 2 hours. It blurred the lines. There were some things that I was like, okay, I didn't need that. And I'm not saying that this thing needed to go for a 2 hours and 20 because I fucking didn't.
Oh, it's too long.
But it just, yes, it needed to amp up the sinister a little bit more for me. And then, maybe get rid of a little bit of the 90s, but it was made in the 90s, so I can't say that.
Yeah. I actually didn't mind some of the 90s-ness of it. The slickness of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The fact that Keanu's hair never moved an inch. I was like, fuck.
But the way that like it had legitimately like 90s production design and cinematography. It was so slick and clean.
The building, the devil's
the building.
building.
It all just looked like the 90s. And I was on board for that.
Yeah, man.
But this movie, it has no right being 2.5 hours. Think of movies that are 2.5 hours.
I know.
This is a trashy legal thriller about the devil being a lawyer.
Yep.
And it goes for 2.5 fucking hours.
But you got to think about it as well. There are some meaty monologues in this thing.
They're all from Pacino.
Yeah, all from Pacino, and that's fine.
He's got a good one about Eddie Bazoon.
I'll watch it. I'll watch anything. And that start with the waterfall and the if you're gonna do this job, you have to be prepared for.
Do you notice how many important business meetings took place on skyscrapers?
Oh yeah,
like
so many. There was like 4 or 5. Yeah.
It's like they didn't have offices. They just went to the top of buildings.
But it was, and it was all on location. Like when Craig T. Nelson threw that paper and it was still in the shot, I was like, you did that for real, motherfuckers. Nice one.
They were just hanging in like a building.
They've got interns in the bottom catching the papers because I can't litter.
There was one hideous green screen, the one where he's talking to Connie Nielsen on that. That was terrible.
Horrible. That was
but the first conversation with Al Pacino, they're just on the fucking side of a building, like on the top floor of a building.
Yeah, with this massive fountain that looks like it streams off the building.
Yeah, it looked amazing. It did. But it was just, I thought it was really funny because it was like clearly Taylor Hackford's idea of like,
this is really nice.
Instead of putting this scene in an office where it might not be as exciting, let's put it where even if people aren't digging the conversation, they can look at the view.
Exactly.
It's like,
so funny.
Yeah, if you're not buying this story, check out how high
Look
we
at
are,
this
though.
shit. Look at this
really
shit.
high
We haven't got titties yet, but stay tuned.
That's it. Stick around. Stick around. Oh, God, this fucking movie.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What else have we got? Do you know what? I reckon this movie's worse.
Go on.
That you know so much about Al Pacino to begin with.
As a person?
No. Sorry.
Oh, right.
As his character, John Milton.
What do you mean?
I think this movie's worse because it's named The Devil's Advocate.
Yes, that's true.
And because the fucking promo art is clearly Al Pacino is Satan.
Devil, yeah.
And
all
the
classic
trailers
shot of this thing is Al Pacino screaming with the fire
behind him.
Everyone
the trailer
sees
had him putting his hand in the holy water and kind of looking up at God like, fuck you.
What the fuck was that scene? Oh, Jesus
That
Christ.
was like, Pacino's fucking loving it. Sick.
But I love it.
He's having so much fun.
The yelling in this, like I love, in my head, like I say to my wife, if I could have, because I'm quite loud, a lot of our listeners will know, but if I could have a yelling match in my lifetime, it would be with Al Pacino and it would be with Tom Hanks and me.
Tom Hanks, he's a good choice.
Tom Hanks is a good yeller.
He's a good yeller.
Turner and Hooch, watch that. He yells a fuck ton. Those two and me, and I'm gonna come in around about second, I reckon.
Yeah.
Right under Al
I think
Pacino.
it's about longevity. It's who can go the longest.
Who can go the longest. But yelling between him and Keanu throughout this thing, I was like,
Keanu.
We don't need to yell.
Let's get to Keanu at some point.
Oh, let's do that.
But I just want to...
Go on, Al Pacino.
Because what I find really interesting about this movie is it's trying to make the reveal that Pacino is the devil... Like a secret?
Yeah.
It's like a slow reveal. It's kind of like, ooh, creepy shit's happening. Is he? He might be a bit on the shady side. Whereas...
We all fucking know.
We know. The title. It's in the title. We saw the trailers. And I feel like it makes... There's hideous dialogue. There's hideous dialogue where... Like, I wrote down a few of them.
Give me a line.
Oh, do
a good Pacino. Go.
They actually say a speak of the devil when he comes out of an elevator thing at the party. Oh, speak of the devil. And I was just kind of like...
Speak of the devil.
Oh, I'm rolling my eyes so far back in my head. What was the other one? Oh, and she says something like, he's looking at them and she's like, oh, I swear, when he looks at us, I swear he can hear us. Okay, because he's obviously... He can hear you. He can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like, and it just kind of, it seems really dumb to me because it's like...
We all know.
We all know. So your pun isn't clever.
No.
Your pun, that kind of pun is clever if the reveal is at the end. And then you watch it again and go, oh, they were foreshadowing it. Not when you go into it going, hey, do you want to watch that movie about Al Pacino as the devil and he runs a law firm? And someone goes...
Which is clearly what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
It just seems really dumb to me.
It does. It does.
Again, imagine if this movie... just embraced it from the start. And so the first thing he does, he comes out and he fucking clicks his fingers in someone's cigarette lights or some shit.
I am the fucking devil.
And it's like...
Guess what?
Hey, man.
I'm going to throw everything I have at you to get you on my side.
But this is what I mean. I think that's a smart... That's harder to write. That's much harder to write, but I think so much more beneficial.
Better movie.
Is if this lawyer turns up and goes, no, you're bullshitting me. And he's like, no bullshit.
All right.
This is who I am. We want you. I think you're going to end up working for us.
I'm going to give you a house.
And he goes, no. And he's like, you don't have morals. What are you talking about? Look at what you've done. And he gradually accepts his place in the world, knowing full well it will end up. Not this weird kind of like Keanu's constantly fighting against it, and it's like... Because
he's blind to it. He doesn't know about it. But Charlie's knows, and
yeah. Because it's really odd. Like, if we talk about the opening, like...
With the court case?
With the opening court case. Where it's like, this movie, by the way, just throws us right in the fucking, hey, you want to, this movie's not for kids, all right?
This movie's not for kids.
This movie is not for kids.
The first court case is about a math teacher that
who starts fucking finger fucking the desk that he's sitting behind when...
And masturbating at the same time in a courtroom.
I was just like, and this is me.
If I was a lawyer, I would have punched him.
This is me in my head going, this movie is like...
Yep.
Check it out. You ready for some fucking adult thriller?
It's Friday night, AO on Channel 9.
That's it.
The Devil's Advocate.
Put the kids to bed.
Do you know,
I can't do that voice.
When we were kids, they didn't have that voice, and now they fucking do it.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's that Australian. Oh, look what's happening on this show.
Anyway,
Fuck off. Sorry.
Yeah, and so what was my point? No, I got it.
Oh,
So
the first court case.
He's a piece of shit anyway.
Yeah.
So having him go on this kind of moral descent,
Who the fuck cares? The
he
guy's
starts
already
as a
bad
piece of
guy.
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because he kind of, in his awful southern accent, tells him he's a jerk after he gets him out of the fucking thing anyway.
Who cares?
He still did what he had to do to keep his fucking perfect record.
Exactly.
So it's still the descent of a piece of shit. Anyway.
It's horrible. I liked his southern accent. I thought he was actually quite good. It was better than Bram Stoker's whatever the fuck he was trying to do in
He
that.
was trying to do like an English thing in that.
Oh, that was bad.
Have you played a game called Special Places?
Oh my God, it was bad.
It had some really bad moments, and it disappears every now and then.
Dropped,
and then every now and then he'll say a
every now and
particular
then,
word,
I'm like,
and he'll just lean into it like
I
nothing
text
else.
it all of a sudden
Yeah.
with those boots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, chill out. Fucking what the hell?
Yeah.
God,
Okay, let's talk
funny.
about Keanu for a bit.
All right, Keanu. I thought he did okay.
I think he does okay.
Yeah.
I think
This was 2 years away from...
I think the accent is a terrible choice, and I think it could have easily been fixed because you just don't make him from Florida.
Yeah.
Make him from anywhere else. Another kind of smaller town place. So that the overwhelming nature of New York still happens.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about Florida, this down south kind of vibe that we have
weird.
in the... Because it does...
Florida's a scary place, man. You don't want to go there. I've
but
listened to a lot of true crime stories that happen.
Yeah, I can imagine. Maybe they're trying to lean into that kind of evangelical home life that he had with his mum and stuff. But I feel like you could have maybe put that somewhere else, and it could have been more kind of small town vibe. Because I just feel like he's so focused on his accent that it doesn't allow him to just kind of
emote,
be the charming guy that he is. I don't know. And
I didn't mind him. I thought he was good. He went toe to toe with Pacino, which would have been fucking scary.
At the end.
Man.
He does try at the end.
Would have been scary as hell, even if you are Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You know. But yeah, I think he did a really good job, especially the scenes where he was playing against Charlize. Did you know how old Charlize is in this? I didn't know because she's quite young
97.
looking. 97.
Oh.
How old is Charlize Theron in 1997? I'll give you a
22.
guess. Yeah, spot on. She's 22.
Nice. Yeah.
22 doing this stuff. Come on, man. That's a bit full on.
That is full on. Aside from Pacino, I'd say Charlize is MVP of this film.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely spot on.
I feel
she
like
does it really well.
Yeah.
The schizophrenic,
she does. She does it really well, but I feel like it's in the service of not as good a movie that's surrounding her. I feel like she belongs in a better movie doing this kind of thing because I feel bad for her because, for instance, when she does like the thing at the end where she stands up in the church.
Yep.
And
she's got all cuts and
she's
stuff
all cut and she doesn't have, she doesn't have any clothes on. I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, God, if this was a movie that didn't feel like it was exploiting its female nudity,
that would have been
would be a powerful moment.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
But I feel like there's the producer in the background going, yeah, now we got a fucking movie. All right. Oh, she's got scratches on her too. Yeah.
Really adult.
Yeah,
really
like
edgy.
super. Oh, this is
Fuck
edgy as
off.
fuck.
It is not.
You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of was like, oh man, because she's trying really hard. Like, she's doing some really some fucking hard material to deal with. I think that scene where she finds the baby in the young child in the room. Yeah. I think she is incredible in that. She does that. She sells that so well.
She does very well.
The only problem I have with
they
it,
do really well with how she looks and towards like throughout the film. Someone did whoever was on continuity in this movie was really spot on, and they had like even looking up that I didn't even notice. I did once it flicked back, but we'll talk about that later. When Keanu's suits go from bright
I read
colours
that. That's
to completely black.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a nice thing that I
That's a nice touch.
didn't pick up at all.
And well, I didn't pick up on it because that kind of pale, almost like off-white suit that he wears, just to me was like, well, that's what some fucking shit lawyer in Florida would wear.
Worn. Yeah, exactly.
Like, as opposed to it being like a moral representation of him. I just think when I think of Florida, I think of dudes in fucking white suits.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's why it had to be set in Florida, because they
there
wanted
you
to
go.
have the motif of the darkening suit.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about Charlize? Oh, my only concern, and the only thing that I think it kind of is unfair for her, is that the transition is just really rushed. I feel like she goes from hey, something might be a little bit wrong here.
Really?
To I am legitimately crazy. Like within...
Yeah, we needed a few more of her scenes.
I think we needed to see her because she has that really excellent scene with Pacino where he's manipulating the fuck out of her to have her just totally doubt herself.
Yeah.
And I think there's some really great stuff in that. But then she goes from just kind of being a cranky wife who is legitimately...
Well, that's what we see. We see that side.
Who
we
is
need to see her
justifiably
side.
angry at Keanu because he's off watching Pacino get a blowjob instead of being at home.
Being at home with his mum.
Because he had to go fucking salsa dancing.
Who doesn't like to do that, though?
With Al Pacino in his big fucking open collared shirt. Oh, man.
Yes!
I feel like Pacino is made for, like, Latin dancing.
Oh, absolutely.
He would just sit in a Latin club. Or maybe it's just like the Scarface thing.
No, but it's a Scarface thing. It is.
Maybe
All I
that
can
is.
see, when they play that music and you see Al Pacino, you need to say,
Him, like,
who's got the
shaking.
yayo? Who's got the yayo?
Yeah, but... What was I going to say? Yeah, so she just has a scene or two of her justifiably being fucking upset with Keanu.
Yeah.
And then it just goes click, she's crazy.
And she's crazy.
She's full bonkers.
Which is, no, it's not service to her. You need to have her have more than just the child scene with her and the child. That was good. But you need 2 more after that to see her really slip. And I think we should have seen...
Wasn't the child scene... That was... Because the next scene is her telling him that she can't have kids, yeah?
Yep.
Has she seen Demon Face yet?
Yes.
That has happened as well.
That has happened.
Okay.
That happened at the very start.
So it's when she sees Demon Face. Because she's fine.
She's fine. And then
Demon Face. And
then
she's lost her mind.
And then, no, she has that. They kind of do it, but it fucking sucked. She was kind of seeing...
Eddie Bazzoon!
Thank you. Eddie Bazzoon getting murdered.
Well, is that... Yeah,
did she see that? You don't really fucking know what's going on there.
But, yeah, because to me, for a second, I thought that she was physically seeing it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought, because she opened the window. I'm like, oh, she can see the butt.
But then it was maybe she was just sensing it.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
What purpose did it serve?
Yeah, exactly.
That she was seeing some guy that she doesn't know get murdered.
Exactly. So for me,
that she
I
met,
needed
like,
more...
once for 3 seconds at a party.
Exactly. I think they needed more. I think we should have seen Pacino, not all of it, but seen Pacino have sex with her and kind of seduce her, and all those cuts come about.
But I think it needed to be like I don't know.
Really
maybe they didn't do it because
home.
they didn't want it to be like... Because I don't think it was his physical presence that did it. I don't think that's what they're trying to imply.
No, it was a Rosemary's Baby
I think
deal.
he was able to project himself into that space.
Yeah. As someone else.
So maybe they just didn't... They could have found a way to kind of
just
creatively do that.
And then that would have been her reveal.
Well, maybe it could have been similar to the way...
Intense.
Maybe it could have been similar to the way when Keanu was having sex with Charlize, that it kept flashing into Connie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have been something like that where actually Pacino sent like a projection of Keanu...
But it was actually
back, and he was this most beautifully apologetic and was like, let's leave, let's go, I'm sick of it here, let's do something else. They started making out, she was so happy, but then it would like weirdly mold into Pacino's face.
Or you see his back kind of wriggle and has like a tail and some shit.
Oh yeah, all right, fuck yeah.
Come on,
let's
we're
do
making
that.
it really
let's
adult.
do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, yeah, because you're right, because I remember when she talks about how, he raped her, in my head I'm kind of like... Okay, are we playing the crazy thing here, or are we playing that it actually happened?
Yeah.
And then when he does that fucking ridiculous line, it was an 11. It was an 11. I'm just kind of like, I don't care anymore. Like, anyway, because she's already topped herself by then.
That's true.
Good death.
Good death.
Charlize, I like it.
Charlize, good death.
And you're getting the job done, man.
Yeah, man.
Right in there, fucking no mess, no fuss. Actually, plenty of mess and plenty of fuss.
What note does that? That doesn't make any sense, Nick. Oh, do you know what I loved? I loved that around this time, 1997, there was just a run of Satan and possession films.
What else was there?
End of Days, which is one of my
End of Days.
faves.
End of Days is like... It's very actually similar to this.
For me, End of Days is is Arnold Schwarzenegger doing dramatic for the first time well.
I don't think... No.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
he does
try some things.
His wife, and
but he gets to do...
It's
like,
dark.
He gets to tell the fucking devil that, he gets to call the devil a choir boy. Like,
it's Arnie versus the devil.
The best parts of that movie aren't serious brooding Arnie. The best parts of that movie are Gabriel Byrne pissing on a fucking pissing fire stuff like that.
See, I don't like Gabriel Byrne as the devil. I prefer Al Pacino as the devil.
I prefer Al Pacino for sure. What else is there? Stigmata.
Dude,
yeah.
Stigmata. And what was the other one that I wrote
I feel like that might have been...
Fallen? That was kind of...
Ooh, Fallen.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, deceptively decent movie, Fallen.
How the fucking good was that?
God, I need to watch that again.
What was the other one? Ninth Gate?
Oh, Ninth Gate is...
I didn't watch it. I heard it was very devilly.
Well, it's Polanski, so it's
it's Polanski.
Yeah, it's much more
than just a popcorn film.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot going on.
No, that was it. There was another one, but I forget what it was. But yeah.
Well, I feel like it's a pretty ripe...
End of Days. I saw that by myself at the cinema.
I watched it only like 18 months ago or so, and I had a really good time with it.
For the first time?
No. I just saw it popped up on something and went, fuck yeah, I'm going to watch End of Days.
Yeah, man.
I had a really good time with it. I feel like it's that underrated Schwarzenegger film that people kind of disregard and go, oh, it's shit house. It's got some stuff. It's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's got some problems. But in that later era Schwarzenegger, it's probably my favorite. I'll take that any day over like Sixth Day or Collateral Damage or Eraser. Yeah, 100%.
Collateral Damage. Fuck, that sucked.
Yeah.
I was up for an Arnie movie and I got like, oh no, I can't beat up people because I'm a fireman.
Well, look, I mean,
what's going on?
It's fun to try something different, and it's Andrew Davis directed Collateral, so you think it's going to have some kind of fugitive kind of class.
Come on.
And it just didn't.
What is your on that topic? Because we're talking about actors playing the devil. Do you have a favourite actor playing the devil?
I should have looked this up actually, because nothing comes to mind at the moment.
Because I
think De Niro is better in Angel Heart. If you ever see Angel Heart,
really? Yeah.
Oh, the only problem with that, and this, I don't know why they do it, because both this, I mean, we've got John Milton who wrote Paradise Lost, so there's the fucking, they're not exactly covering the fucking subtext there.
Yeah.
But in Angel Heart, this is wonderful. His name's Louis Cypher. Lou
Cypher.
Lucifer. So like they're not really hiding it in either respect. I don't know why is that a thing. Why is it like
what was his name in this?
It's like if someone was making a vampire movie and his name was Dr. Acula. Or something.
No, it was like in
what's the one where they write something? Doesn't someone write it on a whiteboard
it's Monster
or something?
Squad. Yeah, it's Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. That's
it backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. So good. No, my favourite actor depiction of
the devil or Satan?
No.
Because sometimes
what's the difference?
No, because sometimes they'd use it differently. Because they do that thing in this as well, where he says, "Are you Satan?" and he kind of looks at him funny. And it's like, "Call me daddy." But it's more like when they do those things where it's like, "I've been known by many names," and all that kind of stuff. So when it's kind of not
his name's
really
just John Milton in this. What's that?
Yeah, he wrote Paradise Lost.
John
Milton.
Lost.
So
right.
They're
okay, they're cashing in on that. No. My favourite is Peter Stormare in Constantine.
We've talked about this before.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That moment where he just drools in from the roof or wherever he comes from.
So good.
So great. Yeah.
That is and the fact that Keanu, who is also in that, calls him Lou, just, hey, Lou, how you doing? And it's just so casual and he's scary and he's smoking and he's in a suit with bare feet.
Yeah, the white suit that's all covered in oil and dirt and shit. It's pretty great.
I love that.
Keep talking. I'm just going to have a look at it a little bit.
Go for it. Yeah, Constantine. I think I'm really pissed that there isn't a sequel to Constantine. Why isn't there a sequel? They did a TV series, which I didn't jump in on because, of course, it's going to be shit. It's not going to be Keanu, and it's not going to be Peter
Yeah, but they actually did it with the right, because they made him British, which he is in the comics, and made him blonde again.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, let me have a little squiz.
I've read Hellblazer. I know what's going on.
Ooh, Viggo Mortensen in The Prophecy. That is a good.
Viggo.
He is good.
He is good. I haven't watched that in fucking ages. What's another one?
Watched that not long ago and really enjoyed it.
Yeah? Give me another
one.
Viggo. I need to watch
Kieran Hines. I feel like he's... What was that from? Oh, was that Ghost Rider, though? No, that's rubbish.
Oh, really? Ghost Rider. No.
Nah. I'm getting pretty low down the list now.
Fair deal. Yeah, I think you're going to top it with those three, though. You're going to top it with Al Pacino,
but this doesn't have De Niro listed. This is ridiculous.
And Peter Stormare. Stormare? Is it Stormare?
Stormare, I think is... Oh, that's how I say it. I could be completely wrong.
No, nice.
All right, let me just see what else I wanted to talk about.
Because it's definitely not... You know what? You know who it's not? Let's talk about bad ones. It's not fucking... what is he called? Probably the worst CG you've ever seen. In the Spawn movie.
Oh, that thing. That video game.
That video
character.
Game.
Yeah.
Beelzebub, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like a cutscene from a fucking Nintendo 64.
It really is. It's so bad. Oh my God, it's bad.
Oh, it's a shame because I like a lot of that movie.
I know.
What else?
What else you got?
Well,
give me something good.
Did you see how they used... And I actually wrote this note before I looked it up and saw that it was actually a thing. I was looking at it and I was like, oh, they've obviously gone really Trump-inspired with Craig T. Nelson because of the gold. Or I was looking at all the gold and I was like, God, this is disgusting. Oh, it reminds me of Trump.
Gross.
And then I read in the trivia, they filmed it in Trump fucking Towers.
Yeah. Of course they did. Because if you're going to associate the devil with someone...
I know, but this is what I think is strange. Donald Trump, right? Someone comes to him and says, hey, Mr. Trump, can we film in your office or something? It's like, yeah, sure. What's the character? What's the movie? Oh, well, it's a guy that has murdered his whole family. They're trying to get him. He's a builder. He's murdered his whole family. Turns out he is guilty and actually did it, and he's a real piece of shit. Go right ahead. Yeah, welcome. Thank you. Well, it's about Satan. Oh, yes. Yes.
He's not that. They wouldn't have done that. He's so dumb that they would have just gone. Excuse me, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Donnie. Do you mind if we shoot a film in your house? Yeah, sure.
Do you know what?
How much you paying me?
No, it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been that. Donald, we have to use your office. It's the best office in New York. We have to use it.
Play to the ego.
Have to. Yeah.
Play to the
Look at
man's
this gold is beautiful. Can we use that office?
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Yeah.
We'll clean up everything. Don't worry.
We would be forever indebted.
Please. Thank you,
dude. Fuck that dude. This is one of those ones where he's. It's one of the. We talked about this once before. It's the made-up nickname for the wife that is a nickname that no one ever says. He calls her Mare all the time,
and her name is
Mary Allen or something.
It's a horrible nickname.
Mare.
Don't do it, Mare. No. Mare.
And that's what made me realize it, because it sounds like he's just going Mare at the end, and I'm like, what are you saying?
Marianne Lomax.
Marianne, that's it.
Lomax. Makes me want to watch Weekend at Bernie's. It really does. Hey, Lomax.
I like keeping track on this.
All
People who give nicknames that aren't real nicknames.
All right, fair enough.
I like it. What was the last one?
What was the other one that you did?
I'm going to have to go back and track it in my notes.
Yeah.
Because I'll keep writing. It's like how funny runs.
I'm pretty sure
we've got to keep it like that. So when we see real people that can't run and
what was the last
nicknames
one?
that don't exist.
Oh, it was the
Craft. Yeah, it was Robin Tunney in the Craft.
Fucking Jesus, that was the worst run I've ever seen in my life.
So great.
She's not running from anyone.
She's not getting away from anybody.
She's not. I would legit believe that she would fall down and the murderer would get her. What was the other one? I remember the other name. I think Nicole was talking with us at the time. Our guest Nicole.
Yes.
Yeah, but I forget what it was. I've only got one more thing.
No, I'm done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know?
Let's talk. We've got to talk about the ending, mate. We'll do that.
We'll do that. Well, this is what I want to talk about.
Okay, great.
It was an all a dream sequence. It was an all the dream movie. You don't have to watch The Devil's Advocate. Why? Well, maybe watch it because if you like, if you're there for the performance of Al Pacino, awesome.
Yeah.
Or if you're there for the titties, we understand that you're young, and that's understandable. But the internet is full of titties. You'll be fine. The
internet exists now, so these movies. That's probably why these movies don't get made anymore.
That's the thing. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But the thing is, if you're going to watch this, well, don't, because it ends up being all a dream. It does a Lost on us. Is this what Lost did?
I don't know. I didn't watch the last season of Lost.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear it.
So this is actually, I usually hate this.
Sure.
Usually hate it.
But it came back in the end. Is that why
I don't mind it in this that much?
Why?
Because, so obviously, look, the whole thing is just a big old-fashioned morality tale.
Yep.
Spruced up and given a fresh coat of paint.
Yep.
Speaking of paint, how funny is the fucking painting scene where she's trying to paint the wall?
What's that about?
And then we suddenly had these like fucking Windows Movie Maker transitions where she'd paint the screen and it would paint it with the new scene. And I was like, what is this? Did someone just discover a new fucking After Effects that they wanted to try out?
It was the 90s. It was so funny.
Anyway, yeah, so it's just a it's just an old-fashioned morality tale.
Yeah, that's what,
yeah, exactly.
It's a
exactly.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned morality tale given a fresh coat.
Sure.
So it needs. You can go two ways with it. You can have it end with him killing himself, basically beating Satan in his plan, rah-rah-rah-rah.
Sure.
Or having the ironically happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
So they've gone with the ironically happy ending. There was not really any other way to do that. The other way you could do it was to not have it be to go back in time.
Sure.
But have it that once when he shot himself,
Yep.
he woke up maybe 10 minutes earlier or something. And Charlize was still alive or something like that. And he had his choice.
And he had his
the
way
choice.
of getting out of it.
Yeah.
So to speak. fork in the road.
So they've decided to go the full back to the start. He's got the awareness of what happened, though, so he gets to learn from it. But the thing is, he doesn't learn from it because it comes away from it, and you think...
do people really change?
He hasn't really changed, because as much as he, says, look, I'm not going to represent this fucking pervert, it's like, step one, like, I'm not going to allow a pervert to walk the streets. I'm like, thanks, mate, you're a real fucking hero. And then...
I'd love Tyson the lawyer.
Actually, before we finish as well, I've got one more thing I want to talk about. But then the reporter comes and says, "Oh, hey, why don't we use this? Because it's going to make you this fucking hero of the people.
Yeah,
I want to write a report. Your career's going to go through the roof. Blah 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 blah." And he, instead of learning anything, he goes, "Oh yeah, call me.
Yeah,
and
sure, give me a call."
And then it turns into Pacino, and he does this.
Vain. Is it vain? No, it's
vanity, greed, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway. So I see the purpose of it.
It was good.
I see it. I don't like the "it's all a dream" thing. I fucking hate it.
I hated that.
But in this circumstance, I don't mind it too much, because he didn't. It's not like it was all a dream, and then he goes and hugs Charlize, and it fades out, and it's happy days.
Yeah.
It's kind of got this hint of irony in it, where it's even the happy ending isn't exactly a happy ending. So. Whatever, man. If you can't,
it worked a little bit.
It worked a little
bit.
I think there's
still
a better version of this movie somewhere out there.
There is.
In a lot of ways.
Director's cut. For some reason, Scorsese stepped away, and Taylor Hackford came in, and the Scorsese version is way better.
That's it. Somebody smarter would have been able to fix some of these annoying things.
It would have,
because their intent a lot of the time is okay. It's okay. It's the execution, I think, is
fair deal. What were you going to say, lawyer-wise?
Oh, okay, so I know nothing about lawyers, right? I'm not a lawyer. I've only been in court I've done jury duty before.
I would love to do jury duty. I'm not allowed. Do you know why? My dad's a cop.
There you go.
I'm not allowed. That's fucked.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy my time on a jury, so I talk it down.
Fair deal.
So I don't know anything about lawyers.
Yeah.
But this, I think I know maybe about as much as this movie pretends to know about lawyers.
Yeah.
Because I'm fairly certain you can't just yell at a child until she breaks down.
Yes, you can.
Talking about special places.
Yes, you can.
Like,
you will be looked at as a complete, utter fucking prick.
But no, the judge is going to sit there and go,
what are you doing?
You can't do that.
You can't yell at a kid.
You are manipulating a witness.
I'm pretty sure you can.
I don't think that's how it works.
Maybe they do in
I feel
Florida.
like this is one of those movies that, like... Because this is what I learned about being in court. It's a lot of dry conversations about really boring things.
Sustained?
And people objecting to things that I feel like are fine.
All right, I'll allow it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So you'll be... Because I remember sitting there, and it was just these... Because we've got the dudes in the wigs in Australia, obviously, so it's a totally different vibe already.
It's barristers and solicitors. It's weird.
But they're sitting there, and it's like... It's not all these hotshot fucking...
No,
you know...
It's not like a performance. It's such a performance.
You wanted him. You were telling them to. You wanted somebody else to be... No, it's not how it went. It was that... I'm like, can someone
You're a dirty little girl. You don't know what they're doing,
Somebody would just be like, all right, everyone just fucking chill out. We're taking a recess.
You're allowed to do this shit.
We are taking a recess. I just don't understand. And the guy who has a coughing fit loses a case because he has a coughing fit.
Weird, wasn't it?
Because that's not how it works. The judge, he might get frustrated and say, it'd be like,
and I love
get your shit together.
Get your shit together, man.
Yeah, we're going to take a little recess. You're going to get a Vicks vapor drop. And then we're going to do this again because it's people's lives that we're talking about. Because you have a coughing fit. It's not like,
true.
set him free.
So true. Do you know what that reminded me of? Do you remember when we went to Office Works and... I read about this. When you sneeze, it reminded me of this completely. Yeah. When you sneeze once, someone will say bless you. You sneeze twice, someone will say bless you. If you sneeze more than 3 times, whoever's with you kind of goes, dude, get your fucking shit together.
100%.
That's what happened. That's it. I sneezed more than, I think, 4 times. So I said, what the fuck are you doing?
Surely this guy just puts his hand up and says,
can I get a glass of water, please?
Or, hey, I feel like I've just been cursed by the devil because I can't speak anymore and without coughing. So how about we just put I'm going to get a pad and paper. I'm going to write, can't breathe, getting some water.
Yeah.
Recess,
or just walk
please.
Out. You can't
Recess,
breathe.
Please, with a question mark.
Sure.
Not, oh, well, he can't talk.
He can't talk.
I guess he loses the case.
I guess he loses. What, really? Does that happen? Yeah, it does now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like the judge was just like, I have to get to my daughter's fucking dance recital. You can't speak, so that
you're
we're
a dickhead,
done.
we're out. Bang, bang. Bang the gavel.
Bang his little fucking gavel.
Why do we still have a gavel? That's so stupid. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do people... I think only people in the movies do this. I have never in my years of living seen someone go... like that.
Oh.
No one has ever like that at me ever.
Nick's doing
a wink of the eye,
a wink of the eye and the chick of the teeth.
It's an uncle thing.
Yeah.
You see it a lot in uncles. Yeah, see you later, man. You know, all of that shit. No one does that. No one.
No,
one
maybe
does
it's
it.
an American
You
thing.
see it in movies. No one in it. I've been to America more than once. You don't do that shit. It's so old school. See you later, kid. You know who does it? Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh.
That's probably who.
I say.
I say, hold on there,
That's what
boy.
Keanu's accent was like.
Yeah. Take your eye off the ball. Eyeball. It's a joke, son. You know.
Dear.
No, terrible.
Good
terrible,
times.
Terrible.
All
right.
What else?
I think that's it.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Did we talk about everything
That
enough?
was really good, though. I think we did a lot better than I thought we would.
No, because we find it easier to talk about like ridiculous movies. I think because there's so much to talk about.
Give us a good movie, though. We're all over the place.
Yeah, or a really good movie.
Stand By Me. Don't listen to that one.
No,
it was too good a movie. We didn't know what to talk about.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, it's plainly great. Like it's
still great.
It's great in a way that it's just kind of like
we got nothing to say.
It just exists
but there's
in
not
a great
like
way.
there's not like a.
And no one wants to hear us talk about the actual reasons why it's great because it's so dry and boring.
Yeah.
Whereas in this case, this is some real shit.
This is some fucking
Devil's fucking advocate.
Devil's advocate.
Al Pacino.
At 2 hours and 20 minutes of non-stop.
What's the favorite thing that he
fuck?
says? Oh, aside from Eddie Barzoon, which he
this?
says about 400 times.
Hoo-ah!
No,
My favorite was the smile as the girl went under the tablecloth. That smile was weird.
He's so trash.
It was so amazing.
Hang on, I'm just gonna.
I was like, God damn.
Hang on, I'm just gonna look up the
Eddie Barzoon.
There we go. I love it because people have obviously searched for this a lot because it's one of the first things that comes up.
Oh, really?
The dramatic monologue.
Lomax.
He's just got one thing that he says.
What is it?
Anyway.
That is definitely my favorite sin.
Guys.
How terrible is that shit?
It's a good monologue. His little rant. Yeah.
I've seen better monologues. I'm telling you, if Scorsese did this thing, it would have been so much better.
Oh, I like this line. That's a good line.
That's a good line.
The.
Let me give you a little inside information.
I don't believe you're playing this.
God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it.
Fucking Pacino.
He gives man instincts.
Instincts.
He gives you this extraordinary gift, and then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private cosmic gag reel.
Oh, I remember this.
The rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time.
Goof of
Look, but don't
touch.
But don't taste.
But don't taste.
Don't taste.
Taste.
Taste. Don't swallow.
Don't swallow.
And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick fucking ass off.
That was it. Oh God, I love it. I love it so much. No, there's one really great line about guilt. Guilt. It's like a carrying around guilt. It's like carrying around a big bag of bricks. Just set it down.
Just set it down. That was a really well written line.
It is. It's actually really like.
I was like, wow,
someone
that's
a lot
actually...
smarter than me when I was reading like a thing online said that it's actually some of the better parts of the script are things that make essentially what is things that I think a sociopath would kind of relate to.
Oh, okay.
Seem human. That concept, like the idea of conscience and guilt being a big bag of bricks that you can just set down, makes it seem like it's taking a weight off you. It's taking a responsibility away from you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like it seems like it's a good thing. Where in reality, our conscience and our guilt is what makes us human.
Yeah.
Like that's what stops us from doing terrible things because we don't want to hurt people. So instead of setting that down is not a good thing. It's a bad thing. We want that way because that's what gives us compassion. But the movie makes it seem glamorous.
Yeah.
That's
true.
And so that's certain moments in the script the best moments do that, kind of personify this evilness. Unfortunately, the rest of it, I don't think lives up to it. Because I listen to that monologue and it doesn't convince me in any way. And I think it maybe is meant to. I think it's meant to have people kind of sit in the audience going, well, I guess I kind of see where he's coming from. But it just doesn't. Whose
voice was that? That was amazing. Do that again.
Some guy then went and shot a whole bunch of people.
I don't know what
I kind of like what Pacino's on about here. Yeah. All right,
I did like that line, and I think why that line resonated with me because a little tap into Nick is because I feel I have a problem with no, it's gone. God damn it! I was gonna say something decent, and now
Sorry,
it's
and then I
gone.
did a stupid voice
No,
and I
it was
ruined
good.
it for everybody.
It was good. Damn.
If you remember,
It'll come back to me.
we can write it on the Facebook page.
Fair deal. All right.
Should we move on?
Let's move on.
Let's move on. That was a fun chat. I enjoyed that.
yeah.
What did everyone think of Devil's Advocate?
Did you watch it?
Did you watch it? Is this an old favourite of yours from the 90s that you used to watch a bunch when you were younger and now you just haven't
Seriously?
picked up on it forever? Well, I mean, I feel like it could have been.
Yeah.
I've got some weird movies from like 1998 that I've seen a stack that I know.
It's a 7.
Well, whatever.
We need
Late
to do.
90s.
We need the best of 97. I think.
97's a big year, my man.
Is it?
Big fucking year.
I know 95 was big for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
97
I
big?
mean, Good Will Hunting, Titanic.
Oh, wow. Titanic. Jesus.
Just off the top of my head, LA
Pass,
Confidential.
pass. Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah, I think that's all the same year.
Christ.
So I think there's some heavy hitters. 97.
97.
Big year.
All right.
Well, why don't we talk about what did we watch this week?
All right then. What did you watch, Tyson?
Well, I'm just going to grab my IMDb up
Yeah, go on.
so that I can have a look at my list,
All right.
see what I've added to recently and what I would like to discuss. I don't think I'm going to discuss much this week, maybe just one.
Right. Well, I'm going to talk. I'll start then, since you're going to look at the list.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to talk Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Ah, hey, good times.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was... I got to remember not to oversell it, Nicholas. Not oversell it.
Oh, okay.
It was actually really good.
Well, that's good,
It was
man.
really good. And going on the back of what the... Because when Jumanji, the original, very close to my heart, me and my brother watched it a fuck ton. I'm going to use a Tyson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched it a fuck ton. So when I heard that the sequel was coming out, I was like, no, don't do that, don't ruin it. And then the trailer came out, and because they were smart about it, they're like, no, kids don't play video board games anymore. We know we're going past that, so let's tap into what the kids are liking. And they did the whole Avatar thing in a video game.
Yep.
And because I'm a massive video game nerd,
Yep.
they tapped into that, and they had abilities and strengths and weaknesses, and there were awesome gags, and it was fucking Jack Black doing his thing. It was The Rock being hilarious. I'm a massive fan of Kevin Hart, and it was just gold. It was really gold.
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear it.
Storyline wise, it didn't do anything different, but it was good, and it had its little wink to the only one, which was good. Wink to the original, and that was it. And yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, that's funny. Do you know what I didn't realise? It's directed by Jake Kasdan. Who I am quite the fan of. Director of Orange County. And
Orange County,
a movie that I am
Jesus.
very close to, that I absolutely adore, which is Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
Among some
good?
other things that aren't as great. But
Yeah.
Walk Hard is something else. It's so good. I can't believe how under the radar that movie went. I think it's...
Bad Teacher.
Bad Teacher's fine.
You told me to watch that. You said it was not bad.
It's not bad. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't
Jumanji,
realise
man.
that was him directing, so that's got me even a little
Give it
bit
a
more
watch. Give it a
interested now.
go. It'll definitely there is no way that you won't find this film fun. It's just a bunch of fun. It's rad.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, Jumanji.
All right, I'm going to talk about. I saw The Witch or The Witch or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Which was a movie from
Controversial.
maybe 2 years ago now, 2016.
Yeah.
No, 15 it was.
Was it?
2015. It was probably late 2015.
Jeez, that was a while ago.
A movie that kind of before it came out was getting kind of the raps as being the scariest movie of all time. And just this like revolutionary horror film.
Yeah, man.
And I will say two things.
Yep.
I fucking loved it.
Right.
But that's not painting the right picture for this film, I don't think.
Right.
And I think that's the dangerous thing. I think you set that kind of expectation for it. You go in, and that's probably not fair that's not fair on the movie because by marketing it that way, you've got a whole bunch of people that sit down with the all right, give it to me a mentality.
Yep.
And
which was
this movie is not designed for that.
Exactly.
It's not designed for that at all.
No.
Because I think it's very unsettling, but and especially the last 5 or 10 minutes is really something else.
It should have come out. It should have been a silent. I am what you described was exactly me going in. That's why it disappointed me.
And I can completely see that happening.
Yeah.
It's a shame though because I think if I was the filmmakers, I would have been kind of resistant to that and said, "Look,
don't do any.
But
Don't
the
do
problem
mass
is,
marketing.
they probably were, but the studio's like, no, because we can do this because we've got quotes, we've got things, people saying this. This is going to make it a hit.
Don't do it.
But unfortunately, I think it did kind of hurt its word of mouth.
Yeah.
If this was a movie that people discovered
Babadook
themselves,
or something, you know,
yeah, maybe the Babadook,
something like that.
But Babadook got a heap of word of mouth as
That's
well.
because it was
I'm
really
trying to think
scary.
something that just had a bit more of a, instead of it being, oh man, this is the scariest movie that you're going to see, something that it was a bit more kind of like, oh dude, have you seen The Witch? It's really kind of fucking unsettling.
Usual Suspects. When that came out, have you heard of this movie? Usual Suspects? It's got a really good, not a bad story. And then, jump on. It should have done that.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have.
It's unfortunate that it's one of
Scariest
these
movie
situations.
of all time.
Well, it
was so huge in those letters. I was like, "Fuck."
And to some people, I can see it being that. And I'm not saying that you're weaker or stronger or anyway.
No, it's not about that.
I think its brand of horror is particular to certain people. I think.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't find it. I just found it incredibly unsettling for a lot of its runtime.
Yeah.
But in a way that I really enjoyed the experience. Like, I will say though that I don't want to spoil it, but there is a voice.
Yeah.
In the last couple of scenes that begins, kind of comes out of darkness, and it sent chills down my spine, and it was something else.
I was really
that last
disappointed
sequence.
that I didn't like it because I was so wanted to love this thing.
Yeah, well,
I jumped on it. I was there in 2015. I'm like, yes, this is going to be fucking bring it on, scare the shit out of me. And yeah, I was that person, and it didn't do anything for me.
That's a
My
real
wife,
shame,
on the other hand, didn't have all those things there, and she loved it.
Yeah,
and I would have loved to have been in that position, having not seen or not read the things that I did and just gone in blind.
It's funny because I've almost had like a double experience. I stayed away from it because of all that praise and because it was so polarizing. So many people were like saying it's horse shit, it's not scary, it's crap, and then other people that I like saying it's really great. So I just stepped away from it for a little while, let it all die down,
2-year break.
and then I get to watch it on my own terms, and I think it's fucking great. I think it's really, really great.
That's what I did with Finding Nemo and Moulin Rouge.
Oh, nice.
I stayed the fuck away.
Yeah,
and
great.
Then, you know what? I'll watch it when I'm fucking ready, and I'll have the reaction that I was meant to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The only thing that I think works against this film is I think some of the old New England language I don't think is handled particularly well.
Yeah.
I feel like it's either, I'm not sure if it's underwritten or overwritten. It just doesn't. But apparently they took quite a lot of it from diaries and things, though. So it's kind of, maybe it was just in the mouths of the actors. It didn't feel natural.
Yeah. We have to get used to it.
Yeah.
From back then. It's
because
like
it was only here and
someone
there.
who doesn't know
But fuck,
Shakespeare.
man, there are some child performances in this that are outrageous. Those two kids are so good.
It's just intense. The little girl.
All the
man.
acting performances, I think, are really stunning. The boy who is kind of has to do a lot of the heavy lifting because he kind of suffers a lot through it. I think does some incredible work. There's one moment where he just spouts like gibberish almost, but like the kind of stuff that would just you'd well,
yeah,
but it's still English though, because he does have some parts because it makes sense as well. But it's the kind of stuff that God would make you go and burn an effigy straight after if it happened in real life. If I saw anyone say what he said, I'd just be like, it was crazy. I think it's got, and like I want more people to see it because I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because I think they ended up making not an inanimate object, but you'll understand, I guess, when you see it, terrifying. But in retrospect, which I think is a really tough thing to pull off, because then after watching the ending, you go back and look and think about earlier moments in the film that featured this character thing, and it suddenly changed everything about the way you thought about what was happening, those interactions. I can't.
I need to have the break. I need the break and then a revisit.
Yeah. Very cool movie.
Yeah, man. The Witch.
The Witch. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Vitch or it's just the font they chose is the way the W looks like two V's.
It's a witch,
yeah. Very good. Yeah. So that's all. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about. Oh, actually, I want to talk about one more thing. Actually, just really briefly.
Go on.
There's a horror movie that is available now.
Jumping on horrors,
I'm trying to watch horror movies. There's a horror movie that is on, that is streamable now, and I think it's on Stan.
Yep.
And it's a movie called Wish Upon. Have you heard of this movie?
No, I haven't.
Wish Upon. It was released in 2017.
Yep.
It is legitimately
Wish Upon.
one of the funniest experiences I've ever had watching a film.
Oh, really?
It is terrible. But it is terrible in a way that makes it highly enjoyable to watch. And I don't mean in like The Room kind of way.
Oh, okay.
I mean in a way where I'm watching this movie and I cannot believe the movie that is unfolding in front of me because it
Really?
is just so ridiculous.
Ridiculous in a funny way? Like, did you enjoy what happened?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, it's the perfect example, and with something that we've talked about before on the show. It is the
Yeah.
perfect example of a movie that was made by not humans to pretend to be by humans. Like,
yeah, talking about
everything,
a boardroom of people? No?
No. I just feel
Okay.
like everything about it feels like someone trying to be human and not knowing what
not
human
knowing what it is,
Like,
yeah.
interactions are all really weird and make no sense. The way the story unfolds is ridiculous and has you scratching your head kind of like, what are they doing? What is this nonsense? Like, there is no character motivation that makes any sense. The performances are all bonkers.
Yeah.
The deaths themselves are really ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ryan Philippe is in it.
Oh, I'll go him.
And like, for instance, Ryan Philippe plays the main character's dad, and his job is he is a garbage diver.
What?
Yeah.
How's
and he
that
has
job?
he has a dirty garbage diving beard. Then at one point in the movie,
right,
due to the title gives us away. It's a wish based. It's kind of like a monkey's paw kind of.
It's the Wishmaster
thing,
but backwards. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a scene where, due to the power of the whatever the fucking wish box thing, Ryan Philippe gets himself sorted out.
Right.
And it cuts to him, freshly shaved, clean haircut, playing like sexy saxophone in his living room while his daughter and their friends watch him, and his daughter's friends are all like, "Wow, your dad's really hard."
What the fuck? What?
It's bonkers, this movie. It's so bonkers.
Why are you watching this shit?
Because I heard it was this kind of bonkers and I was interested. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a crack. It's legitimately, if by chance you were looking for the kind of movie to watch with a bunch of people late at night, a few drinks down, and you wanted that kind of movie that you can just have a stupid fun time with, I cannot recommend this movie enough. Wish Upon. It's on Stan or Netflix.
Wish Upon.
Yeah. Get some drinks.
Get on it.
Get some people together.
Get on it.
And just enjoy the ridiculousness of this movie.
Don't watch Devil's Advocate. You'll be pissed off. Watch Wish Upon.
Exactly. No, yeah, watch Devil's Advocate. I reckon Devil's Advocate's a good choice for
no, it's too long.
It is too long, actually. You're right. Wish Upon is a tidy 88 minutes or some shit.
You need to start if you're going to watch Devil's Advocate and start drinking, you need to start doing a drinking game.
They should. If you did as many shots as they do in that opening bar when they're in Florida, you'd be fucked pretty quick.
Pass.
Smart.
Pass. Yeah.
I like Keanu's drunk acting in that. I should have mentioned that before. He was really funny. I liked him a lot. Yeah. That's a nice touch, you being black.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Oh, man. Weird.
All right. Well,
is that it? Well, we're going to cross some streams.
Yay! Oh, that was way too loud for my son.
That was good, and you kind of slid up. I liked it. It was good. Yeah, it was good. All right. Do you want to go first?
I can totally go first.
All righty.
Oh.
I forgot what I've picked now.
No, that's all right.
I had something sorted, and now it's gone.
I have picked something that it is it's sort of like a mini documentary TV series, which I saw it and went, yes, I'm in. It is called The Toys That Made Us. And this is for the generation that is Tyson and myself.
Right.
This goes in, so it has a lovely, Tyson would love this, only 4 episodes.
Okay.
That's it. The first episode is on Star Wars. The next episode is on Barbie. The next episode is on He-Man. And the last episode is on G.I. Joe. Now, what it does is goes into mad detail of what happened during the years of these things being built. So I watched the Star Wars one, and it was more on... obviously, everyone knows how George... took a percentage. He didn't want the full cut. He wanted a percentage of the toy line.
Yeah, cleverest move in history.
Yeah, so he became a squillionaire because of it. Now, they couldn't keep up when Star Wars came out. A lot of this time that you get some of this that toy companies can't keep up with how fast they're going, and they go to the original factory which they were made in and blah blah blah, and then you go to the guy who literally owns every single motherfucking Star Wars toy that there is. Even has a motherfucking Jar Jar Binks section in the back that he fucking laughs. He's got it. Hey, he's
hides it from
he's
anyone
got
that
a
comes
sense
to
of
visit.
humor about it, and I love him for it.
Of
You know,
course.
it's gold. And then I watched the Barbie one, which was amazing. Goes into the history of that. And to be honest, I was just sitting eating my breakfast watching this thing, and they're 40 minutes long. They're not, they're a nice set.
Oh, that's cool.
And I went into the backstory of Barbie and why she is a good thing for little girls.
Okay.
You know why it is and what the creator had behind it, and the creator going into debt and all of this stuff. It was awesome. Then I get to the He-Man. I haven't done the G.I. Joe one yet.
Sure.
But it was gold. I loved it. I had all the He-Mans.
Yeah.
I had
We've still got some floating around at home.
all of them. And it was the thing that He-Man did was because all the dolls by that point looked like the Star Wars, no nothing on their face, just straight arms. And He-Man came out and he looked like a fucking 80s wrestler, WWE style, and it looked
was
badass.
stacked.
He was huge.
Yep.
Not only that, Skeletor. And what I didn't know in watching this thing, that the toy line actually came out first, Tys.
Yeah.
And because of that, they made the TV series.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's gold.
That was based on, they had to
I
think it's one of the only times that it's been reverse engineered that way.
No, but they were the first. So after that, all like, you remember Silverhawks, Thundercats, Marshall Bravestar, what are the other ones? Strawberry Shortcake. All of those
Were
followed
based on
in
toys.
that suit.
Okay,
followed
cool.
that suit. But
Very cool.
it was really funny watching the He-Man one. He-Man, like, for some reason hit a point and then just crashed.
Yeah.
And it was right around the time of our favourite movie. Masters
I did
of
love
the
that movie.
fucking universe.
Yeah.
We will do that. We will do that episode.
Yeah, that's
going
gonna
to
be a lot of fun.
It's going to be awesome. But
The key! I love that movie.
But yeah. The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah, so where can I watch this?
You can watch this on Netflix. This is a Netflix
Great.
original. This is
Oh, nice.
amazing. And 1 second.
I look forward to
They
it.
already have a coming soon season 2, which is Transformers, Lego, Hello Kitty, and Star Trek.
Oh, cool.
I can't wait
Yeah,
for
it'll be a
this
lot of
thing.
fun.
This is
Awesome.
awesome.
I'm
This
going
is
to
what
check
I
that
love.
out. Hey, can you just look at this and tell us if we've done that one before?
Oh, I can give you can talk about something and give me 2 seconds because I don't have that list up yet.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to double check.
What was your favourite? What He-Mans do you have, Tys?
I had a He-Man. I
Yeah.
had a Man-at-Arms.
You had a Man-at-Arms?
I had a Skeletor. I
You
had
had
a
a
Castle
Ram-Man?
Grayskull.
Oh, yep.
I had the Tiger. What was the Tiger called?
Man, are you serious? How do you not know?
I can't remember.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Battle Cat.
Battle Cat. Thank you.
Come. He was cringer when he wasn't Battle Cat.
And I had a few random villains. I feel like I had one that had suction cups on his hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go for
So
it.
who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved those He-Man toys. We had a really good stash of toys, me and my
Oh,
brother.
really?
And he's kind of sold a few of them. And I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Fuck.
He sold his full Voltron, and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Seriously, Tyson, we did it when we watched The Lost Boys. The Swatch watch on the fucking wall. How much is that worth now? And don't tell your brother to keep that shit. Just keep it. Just keep it.
Go throughout that watch.
Fucking keep it. My sister-in-law, she had 2 of those watches.
They're the best.
Fucking amazing.
All right, well, I'm going to...
What have you got?
I'm going to do a recommendation of a film that is on Amazon Prime and on Stan, so you've got a bit of choice if you want to see it. It's a film that kind of got a bit of shit when it came out because it was following a kind of a masterpiece and maybe didn't live up to its expectations, and that is the 2013 film Elysium, directed by Neil Blomkamp of District 9. God, I was going to say something, other number at the end.
Blomkamp is young too, dude.
Yeah, and look, he's unfortunately his movies are taken a bit of a downward turn, I think.
It's hard.
Which is a real shame because I feel like every time it's like, oh, it's okay though because he still made District 9, so it's okay. He's like, we know that he's really good and
ride that train.
Ride
it.
We're just waiting for it to turn back up again. And I feel like with Elysium and his other one, Chappie, I feel like they've both had really great things in them.
Yeah.
And then just some kind of choices that don't pan out. I think Elysium overall works better than Chappie, but still is not at the level of District 9 at all. No. Having said that, though, I think if it had come first, if Elysium had been the first one and we didn't have District 9 to compare it to, I think we'd be still talking about a pretty impressive sci-fi filmmaker who managed to do something fairly groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And Like it's a pretty great film. Like
it's not an original story, but fuck, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
visually, I think it's incredible.
Oh, dude.
I think there's some the special effects stuff is intense and
the other world,
yeah.
like it's all
and
loop and shit.
exactly the world design, the production design of it all. And it's not groundbreaking in its storytelling sense, but fuck, it's doing some really cool stuff and very memorable stuff. And there are some action sequences that just knocked me on my ass.
Yeah, man.
More so than District 9, I think. District 9, I think, is just an exceptionally well-told movie. Yeah. And then some great action moments towards the end.
There's moments, but it's not really an action movie.
No.
District 9.
Some stuff in Elysium was just like,
Dude,
holy shit,
off the
man.
rails.
Off the rails.
Especially with Charlotte Copley.
Yeah.
Like, he flipped the coin on this. He went from District 9 to this guy who was just a
And as soon as Matt Damon gets his fucking exoskeleton thing fucking
strapped on the back
well,
of him.
it's not strapped. Don't they have to like solder it to him or
don't
something?
Have to nail it to him?
Yeah,
to his spine or some shit?
It's like it's hardcore.
Yeah.
Man, this movie just goes through the roof, and I think it's a really good time. So
I feel that Matt's just a touch
probably
miscast,
slightly miscast. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah, but still, you can look past that for this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's still awesome
for sure.
Yeah, man.
So that's on Prime, Amazon Prime, or Stan. If you've heard it was kind of shit and didn't bother because it was no District 9, I think it's still definitely worth giving it to watch.
Watch it
because there's enough good stuff in it to get past some of the shortcomings.
And Neil, get your shit together. Get a decent
Still waiting for that
scriptwriter.
Alien 5, my man.
Fucking give it to us, man.
Yeah.
Give it to us.
Stop fucking around with these prequels.
Yeah.
Give us Hicks, Newton, fucking
films.
and Ripley.
Stop giving short films. Enough with the short films. Get onto it. We know you. We love you. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap us up for this week, my man.
Tys, that was it for Devil's Advocate.
That's it.
What are we doing next week?
Well,
we're doing a fuck, what is that?
Well, it's the return of our favourite segment.
Yeah.
It's on our list.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
For those of you who don't know what this segment is, this is where me and Tyson finally open up the big book of when someone goes, "Oh, have you seen this?" And we go, "Yeah, no, it's on the list. I'll watch it eventually." Yeah. We are grabbing one from that list, watching it. The last one we did was So Now Was Fire, which turned out to be a fucking hilarious fest.
Yes, it turned out to be a piece of shit film, but there was quite a lot to talk about in that movie. It's funny what I've decided, what we've ended up leaning towards, because we've ended up leaning into movies that perhaps, like, when I initially kind of conceived the idea of the segment, I thought we'd be watching, things like
Citizen Kane. Yeah.
We'd be going back into maybe Seven Samurai and going into these
Yes.
classics that we've just managed to skip over
Kurosawa
and have a really good talk about some of this shit. But what we've ended up doing is kind of looking at those movies that everybody else has seen.
Yeah.
And it's just part of their culture, part of their subconscious.
They watched it when they was a kid.
They watched it when they were a kid and they've seen it on
shit.
television, and then the kind of movies that they've seen like 20 times in their life that we've just managed to
not see.
just
We're
skip.
like, oh wow, we missed that one. Sorry about that.
So yeah, so we started with 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which somehow we both hadn't seen. Followed it up with Say No One's Fire, same thing. We both just happened to have not seen it
Both
for some
movies,
reason.
really fucking horrible movies.
Tell us what we're doing next week, Nick.
We are doing. I know there's a lot of fans of this one. We are going to jump in. We've got Cher, we've got Bob Hoskins, and we've got Christina Ricci. That's right. We are doing Mermaids.
We're doing Mermaids. What a weird choice. I can't actually, it was so funny how
What's
when...
the shoot song? I don't know how it goes.
Yeah,
I'm just
if
gonna
you
click.
wanna know
If he loves me so, it's in his kid.
that's where it is. Yeah, so I'm...
Mermaids. I can't wait.
Pretty
Who
interested.
directed this?
So
thing?
this is directed by Richard Benjamin, who is more of an actor. So
Okay.
that's interesting.
What year was Mermaids? 92. I'm going to say 92, 91.
Yeah, well, I think you're pretty close. It is 1990.
Oh, damn it.
So, well, I'm pretty excited about this. It's not, and it's also, we forgot. Forgot, someone else who's in it.
Oh, yeah, she's most good.
She is most good. Most good. I can't wait. Is this our first Winona Ryder? No, we did Edward Scissorhands.
No, we did Edward Scissorhands.
I keep forgetting. I just need people to know how much of a fan of Winona Ryder I am.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of hers.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. I think she's a really incredible
Really?
presence. Yeah. We talked. I think the joke is that she can't act, but we talked about this during Edward Scissorhands.
Oh,
she's great.
She knows what she's doing in some
I think she's
things,
great.
and I loved her when she came back in Black Swan. But as a person, I don't think she's
she
all
might
together.
be off. She might be off the fucking
She's
rails.
not on the rails. Did you see what she was doing during what's his name's
That's
speech?
that's one of my favorite gifs of all time.
God.
The one when if you post if someone's saying some ranting about some bullshit that you're like, what are you talking about? It's that one. It's the picture of her darting her eyes around like, what am I doing up on this stage?
And
what is he talking about?
She ruined ruined that speech. She ruined it. You
Mate,
ruined
it
this
makes
one.
me, I think it's great. It makes me laugh a lot.
Fuck me.
Yeah, so it's going to be really...
the fuck out of it.
She did.
Yeah.
Mermaids.
That's
going to be really fun.
Bring it on, yeah.
Nick, tell people where they can find us, my man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to Nick Tys and Videotape, welcome. But if you want to have a look at what else we're doing, you can follow us on all the social medias.
Yes.
FaceWhip. Wow.
Face whip?
That was Facebook and Twitter and the same thing.
FaceWhip.
FaceWhip. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the other ones in there. But if you want to write to us and say how much you love us, or if you don't, hey, bring us some shade. We don't give a shit. We'll throw it right back at you.
More chances of getting it read out on air if you send us hate
mail. If it's hate mail. Yeah, that's true. But yes, you can write to us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. But other than that, you can find us wherever you find a podcast. Tell your friends, like us, share it, subscribe.
Yeah.
Rate, review, all of that.
If by chance your podcast app allows you to put any kind of stars into it,
just chuck it on. It
chuck
takes
5
2
up
seconds.
there. We'd be ever so grateful.
While you're waiting for your barista to make your coffee and you're listening to our tones, just hit that 5 stars.
Hit that 5-star button.
And apart
we
from
will
that,
love you forever.
And if you don't do that, you can always find us on YouTube and start trolling us on there.
Yeah,
give it a shot.
Join the community of trollers that.
Yeah, that totally exists.
Fuck up everyone's YouTube videos with firsts.
And then we have to take it down and put it back up again and all that bullshit.
Bless.
But apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Nicholas.
And I've been Tyson. Thank you very much.
And it's been fun. We will see you next week.
Yeah, all right.
Yay.